Using to watch this video, you have access to a nearly endless amount of information. Anything from cute cat videos to the most horrific workplace accidents is at your fingertips. I think that many people in the modern day take for granted just how lucky we are to be able to share information so freely, especially in America where free speech is just a given. This is certainly not the case everywhere, and there are many examples throughout history of countries shutting down free speech for a supposed greater good. Detention is a game that showcases perhaps a lesser known example of this, the time period in Taiwanese history known as the White Terror. The game manages to masterfully show us the horrifying reality of a brutal and oppressive government while also being uniquely Taiwanese, with it being deeply rooted in both Taiwanese history and culture. If you don't know very much about Taiwan, this video will not only discuss the game, but also some of the history required to understand it. Before I begin, spoiler warning for the game and a content warning for blood and death. To begin, we must first understand just a little bit of Taiwan's complex history. The island has been the subject of brutal colonization from many sources, including the Netherlands, China, Japan, and finally China again after winning back the island from Japan. This occupation was not graceful, and many Taiwanese citizens resisted. Desperate to maintain control over Taiwan, the Chinese government killed between 20 to 30,000 protesters in an event known as the 228 Massacre. Meanwhile, China was engulfed in a bloody civil war between the Nationalist Party under Chiang Kai-shek and the Communist Party under Mao Zedong. In the end, the Communist Party achieved victory, forcing the Nationalists to retreat to Taiwan in order to survive. Now, even more desperate to hold on to power, the nationalist government enacted martial law across Taiwan, meaning the country was effectively put under the direct control of the military. Laws were passed allowing for anyone suspected of being sympathetic to the Communist Party to be arrested, beginning the time known as the White Terror, a period where loyalty to the nationalist government was put above all else, for fear of losing China's last bastion of hope against the communists, where even something small could get you reported, thrown in jail, or even executed for anti-government activities. This sets the scene for the beginning of detention, in which during a class, a military-looking official, Instructor Bai, pulls aside the teacher, Miss Yin. Being confronted by a military official was almost never pleasant, as it means you are in deep trouble. A question flashes on the screen. Miss Yin, have you seen this list before? We then awaken as one of the students, named Wei. All the other students have left. We begin to investigate where everyone has gone. On the ground we can find clues, such as an announcement. Due to our ongoing war with mainland China, Instructor Bai is asking students to rat out anyone who may be pro-communist or show signs of treachery. There are big rewards for informants. This poster gives us a big clue that the teacher, Miss Yin, was ratted out for something, hence why the military official is there. More clues like this will be scattered throughout the game, and it is our objective to find them. We then make our way to the auditorium, and to our surprise there is actually another student named Ray. We wake her up, and before leaving, we need to find her deer pendant, which is very important to her. We then attempt to make our way into town, but to our surprise, the bridge has collapsed, and the river runs red like blood. The atmosphere of the game thus far has been ethereal, almost like reality has become warped. Detention, if nothing else, masterfully uses setting to convey its message. The game is also filled to the brim with symbols and metaphors. Rivers are often symbolic of a barrier of sorts, not just physically but also spiritually. A Western example of this you might know is the river Styx, which in Greek mythology must be crossed to enter the afterlife. This bridge is a similar concept, relating to the Buddhist belief about the Bridge of Oblivion or the Japanese idea of the river Sanzu, in which spirits may not cross until their souls are at peace. The Red River taking the appearance of blood could also be representative of the fact that this story revolves around the death and destruction brought on by martial law and the White Terror. It is from the presence of this river we immediately know that this isn't just a regular storm. There is something deeply wrong. We are not just on a physical journey, but on a spiritual one. Realizing the futility of trying to cross the river, Wei and Ray head back to the classroom. Logically, Wei begins to look for a telephone to call for help when the world turns gray. The screen fades to black and images flash our screen. Students, a gun, eyes. The gun is representative of the killings, which by the end of the White Terror numbered at least 4,000. Meanwhile, the eyes are representative of the watchful eyes of the government and fellow citizens. It is a trademark feature of authoritarian societies to encourage you to rat out your neighbors. This is done not only to root out traitors, but also to inspire fear and discourage any collaboration that could facilitate rebellion. After this series of images, we awaken in the auditorium, but this time we awaken as Rei, while Wei hangs from the ceiling. This experience is jarring, and Rei has no clue as to what could be going on. The suddenness of this could perhaps be reflective of how during the White Terror, people disappeared very quickly. There was almost never a lengthy trial. If you were suspected of being a traitor, your punishment was swift. Now, Rei is on her own and must find a way out of this mess. In the closet to the left, we find a rat in the vent, which is in reference to the rat who reported Miss Yin. There is also another clue that reads, "I heard a teacher started a book club for the students and are reading prohibited books," which gives us insight into what Miss Yin was arrested for. Continuing the search, near the collapsed bridge we find a tombstone and a note about the lingered, which are spirits that wander around because they cannot peacefully pass into the afterlife. Rei will have to face many of these spirits along her journey. Now, the last place to search is the school, where we find the telephone. It rings and Rei gets a message. "I am waiting for you in the counselor's office." What follows next is a series of puzzles. Making this more difficult are the symbols written on the walls which make it impossible for us to enter. Notably, a symbol on the door wouldn't prevent you or I from using it. These symbols were used to ward off spirits, which, if it wasn't clear already, means that right now, Rei is a spirit or ghost. Another part of these clues that we will need to find is piecing together what exactly happened to Rei herself. Near the end of the puzzles for this section, we will be confronted by a giant creature, which if you look carefully has a military hat on, likely being representative of Instructor Bai who took away Miss Yin at the start of the game. After escaping from this creature, we reach the end of part 1, giving us another clue, a page of a counseling record. We will later find that this is Rei's counseling record, and we will see all of these details for ourselves. This reminder of who Rei is transports us to her room, where she reflects on her future. After hearing her parents arguing through the door, she decides to sleep. A message flashes our screen. If a paper airplane could whisk my dreams away from here, where I could wake up and find myself in a foreign land to start a new life, oh how wonderful that'd be. Keep this in mind as the paper airplane is a significant symbol that will reappear later.
We built a virus that takes control of every part of a scammer's computer. We're going to be weaponizing their keyboard, their mouse, their screen, even their speakers. And now, we're going to use it to see just how far we can push these scammers.
Alright, so this guy's in the middle of a scam, as you can hear. We're going to disrupt the scam. Hopefully he gets mad. That's the goal. Mouse random drag.exe.
अरे ये क्या हो रहा है? अरे ये क्या हो रहा है?
0.4652.amd64FRE.ge_release boss and
What is going on? What did I unleash on this guy's computer?
Before we did anything crazy, we got to make sure our virus actually works.
Hi, thank you for holding the line. My name is Alex. I'm the senior supervisor. How are you doing today?
How are you, Alex? I'm fine.
Meet our first victim, a fake PayPal scammer. Let's see him try to scam us while he deals with stage 1 of our virus.
Now, as you have been connected to our security server, I'm going to help you cancel this charge. Now, you have already written down the refund amount, correct?
I wrote down $499.99.
And write down the product. It is refund for BTC, which is Bitcoin, okay?
Okay, what is Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, it is a digital currency that is used for online shopping, sir. Can you confirm me with your name, please?
Yeah, it's Brian. Franklin. Okay, now he's typing on the screen and it's messing up his keystrokes.
None of the letters are right.
Oh my gosh. What do I have to hit now?
Just hold on for a moment. Now I will be canceling this charge right now and refunding the money back to you.
All I can type is blank.
Oh, now all he can type is Brian Tarkton. Okay, what now?
Do you use any kind of online banking with you?
I use
Or not
Chase.
where we
Now, anything he types, it says Brian Tarkton every time he types it. Okay.
just hold on for a moment, okay?
Uh-huh.
By the way, we've got complete control over this virus, so we can turn it on and off whenever we want.
Okay, now I'm going to cancel.
I'm sorry? What's going on?
You use online banking, sir? Do you use any online banking?
Yeah, I use online banking.
Okay, now we are going to cancel this charge right now. Just bear with me for a moment.
That's fine.
And can you
Yeah,
confirm me with your name once again,
see.
sir? It's Brian.
Yeah, first name is Brian
And your last name?
Tarkton. Let me spell it. T as in Tark. A R K T E N.
Okay, now just hold on for a moment.
He's probably thinking, what the heck is going on right now? That's so good.
Okay, now just hold on for a moment.
So good, dude.
Once we cancel the PayPal account, you will get an email regarding that.
Let me check my account. This is kind of crazy. Is it coming out of my savings or my checking?
It has
Every
been
time he
charged on your
types.
savings account right now, so we are going to cancel this charge. And once we cancel this charge, it will be highlighted in your statements.
Every time he's typing Brian
Now I'm
Tarkton.
canceling this PayPal account.
We're just
Once
turning
we
it on and
cancel
off.
the PayPal account, you will get a confirmation email over there. So if you get any email, just do let me know, okay?
Okay. Yeah. I hit him with the mouse, shaky mouse. All right, we're hitting him. His mouse. We'll be able to show you guys on the screen. His mouse is
So
savage.
annoying.
You
It's so
see that?
tiny.
It's so good.
Actually, we can't show you because OBS just decided to crap out. But don't worry, we're going to be trying this one again later on. Turns out that was enough to freak him out. He knows that his PC is infected, and now he's going to transfer us to the manager of the call center.
Now just hold on for a moment. I'm getting you connected to our security server.
Okay, I hit install. Now it says allow remote control. Please tell your partner
Yeah.
the following ID.
Just give me a moment, okay?
Okay,
I'm
that's
forwarding
fine.
your details to my refund officer. Once he lets me know, I will just transfer your call to him.
Okay, so now we're going to get them to
new computer.
go on a new. It's definitely a new computer. We're gonna hack this guy in the middle of this whole thing, dude. How about if we get this plus? Oh,
That's weird.
He's on a different computer, but you guys know the drill. We were obviously able to hack him too.
I just got the confirmation from my refund officer, so they are going to give you a call right now.
okay.
So just receive the another call, okay? And hang up my line.
I don't have any calls coming in.
You need to hang up my call first of all, and then you will receive the another call, okay?
Oh, okay.
Got him. Whoa, bro, like as soon as you get off the call. Look at that. Look at our buddy. Look at our buddy.
The plan was to hit the manager's PC with the virus, but as soon as we got access, he panicked and disappeared forever.
Oh yeah?
Now that we know our virus works, we just had to figure out what to do next.
So what's going to be happening is we're going to be going through a scam bait with the guy, or we're going to be making it really difficult for him. So we're going to do things like every mouse click, it just gets eaten.
Yeah, I like to eat. Yeah,
So like it doesn't work. So he has to do like 4 mouse clicks to do one. Secondly, flipping his taskbar from the bottom to the top. Another one. Contrast, changing the contrast on his screen.
Torture.
Another one, changing his desktop icons. Another one, when he types, we can have different names show up on the screen while he types. We'll ask the chat about various things that you guys want to do to this guy. So we'll give you a couple options each time, and based off of what it is while we're on the call, then we'll do that. So over the past couple of months, I've been telling you guys all about data brokers and their impact on everyone from buying and selling all of our personal information. We did a case study on 7 here from Scammer Payback. Gosh, there was a lot to find. Now we've got an update, so I'm gonna bring 7 in and let him know what we found. 7.
Hey boss.
Hey man, so, all right, here's the thing, okay?
being the good boss that I am, all right, I wanted to stop all this data broker stuff. So we brought in Aura, who's sponsoring today's video, to finally put a stop to things.
That's correct.
Now, I went on all these data broker sites and I was searching for your name, and they've actually taken you off of hundreds of these sites. I couldn't find you anywhere. And I even went to Google and I was searching your full name and address and everything, and I couldn't find anything.
Bro, that's awesome, man. I don't get scam calls and you can't even find me on Google.
Yeah, and I would say that now it's time to celebrate. Now, unlike 7 now, a lot of people still feel this way. They feel as if there's no point in protecting themselves, that their information is just floating around on the internet for anyone to buy and sell, and there's nothing you can do about it. But there is something that you can do. We can fight back against these data broker companies. There's a sense of security in using Aura because they do all the hard work for you, so you don't have to worry about it. So go to my link at aura.com/scammerpayback for a great offer and 14-day free trial. I know for sure Aura will have started to take your personal information off of the internet and these data broker sites. Go to aura.com/scammerpayback. Now let's get back into the video.
Hello?
Yeah, hi miss, how may I help you?
Is this Mike?
Like, we have talked earlier, miss, like we talked on yesterday.
Is this not Mike?
Yeah, this is Mike, miss.
Oh,
Just
okay.
hold on
This
here.
is Stephanie Humphreys.
Okay, hold on.
Say hello to our second victim. This guy's name is Mike because, well, P said so. You can tell that he's already a little bit irritated, so it's about to get a lot worse.
So miss, just let me know, are you using a Mac computer or Windows computer? Do you know what computer are you using?
Yeah, it's a Windows desktop.
Okay, so what happened is you guys voted mouse random clicks first, key substitution second, and random zoom on screen as third, and volume jitter fourth.
Can you see my mouse now?
Yours or mine?
Yeah, mine. You see refresh?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, someone's hitting refresh.
What do we have on his right now? What do we have on his?
The offset. So every time he clicks, it's going to be offset by like a certain amount of pixels.
So every time he clicks, it's like 4 over?
I can go from like 3 all the way up to 200.
Oh my gosh.
Left
So
or
that's
right?
happening on his screen then.
Okay, miss, just type your name.
All right.
So, as I can hear, like, are you with your husband, miss?
Yeah, my husband just came in. He was napping, but I told him to leave. He's very nosy. So I just told him to go back to sleep.
Okay. So you are parallelly working on different computer or you are working on the same computer, miss?
What do you mean, working from a different computer?
Like I can hear the button noises like you are pressing something.
No, I just have like I have really bad anxiety, so I kind of just click around on my. If you hear this, it's me. I'm just kind of like.
The mouse on the scammer screen is jittering right now.
That's my favorite one.
Bro.
Can you see it?
No, I can. Oh yeah, on my screen it's jittering.
Because it's
All
going
right,
through.
Yeah. Look on my screen. Guys, look at my mouse. My mouse is jittering because his mouse is jittering. That's not me doing that. That's his mouse. That's so good. And we just put his location up here.
Okay, now what?
Yeah, just hold on. I'm just calculating the like amount what we need to refund.
Why is
or
my mouse
cancel it.
moving like this?
Yeah. You just hold on. Let me. You just don't move the screen, miss. Like, you just leave your mouse.
It's not. My mouse just keeps jittering.
Okay, I know. Let's minimize this. Okay, what you need to do, miss, let me try some cancellation code. So just hang on this screen, okay?
Okay.
So first of all, tell me, do you know anyone from Ohio?
Wait, hold on. All right, you're supposed to be giving me money, and now someone's typing random codes on my screen. FDWOB.
No, hold on. Miss, we are initiating your refund, okay? Just hold on. But first of all, we need to cancel some charges.
Who's typing that? What does that even mean?
Yeah, actually, this is
his keyboard's messed up. Just remember that.
Okay?
So
This
when he
is
types a
diagnosing.
word, He types a word and it doesn't look. It's
type there. What is my IP? Just remove everything.
His keyboard isn't working anymore, so now it's transmitting to my screen. So he's trying to scam me, but
just
he can't.
Remove everything and just type there.
Yeah, can you type it for me? It's not working. It says HYIB.
Okay,
What are you trying to type?
Yeah, let me
what
type it for you.
Is
okay, what we are doing here, I'm transferring this call to our refund department. They will refund you money back right now.
okay.
And apparently he will be canceling the things what they needed. So just hold on for a second.
Okay.
Hold on for a second while I crumple a bunch of paper into the microphone.
He's swallowing his mic, or he's like rubbing it.
Oh my gosh!
You know,
I hope you guys understand what's happening right now. This is freaking beautiful. He's trying to type on here, and it's all random things. He can't type. He's trying to type. This is the best thing ever.
You want to switch it to a phrase? Let's switch it to a phrase.
So switch it to like, what phrase should everyone type in the chat? What phrase we should change his keyboard? Anything he types, it's a phrase.
Yeah, still there, miss?
Yes, sir. I'm here. You could do BAITA. That means sun in Hindi. Well, what do I have to hit on though?
You don't need to hit anyone else. Let me do it for you.
I'm not saying hit someone. I'm saying hit on the screen.
Yeah, just hold on here, miss. Let me do it for you.
It says Baita. Who's Baita? No, it's BAITA. Okay, now it says ETA BIET. What is Baita?
Just hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, don't touch the.
It says Home Depot.
Yes.
HomeDepot.com.
Yeah, like, do you use this website, miss?
No, what is Home Depot?
Actually, this is a gift card website, so we need to cancel a order from here.
Oh, why would I go to a gift card?
Yeah, you don't need to get a gift card, miss. We need to get a code so we can start the refund process. Just hold on.
I'd hit him with the mouse and the beta. Mouse jitter, everything.
So miss, like, are you using a speaker? Like voice changer?
I'm sorry?
Are you using a voice changer, like something like which is helping to change the voice?
I'm confused.
Okay, just hold on. Let me do it for you. Don't touch the screen, miss, okay?
Okay.
And don't press
what
any
is
key.
Bata ba? Ant bait?
Miss, don't touch the screen.
I'm not hitting anything.
Okay.
Every time he types a word, any keystroke, it types out beta. This is
wait, give it a second.
Oh my gosh. The contrast on his computer is ridiculous right now. You guys, oh my gosh, his whole computer. Oh, he's pissed. Did you hear that? He's pissed.
Mike is clearly frustrated, but we want to push him over the edge. So we are going to unleash the most annoying and my personal favorite part of this virus. We're attacking the speakers.
Oh no.
You want to hit him with a beep? All right, we're about to hit him with a beep too. So they're all sitting around. Look, they're all sitting around the screen probably right now. We gotta hit them with a beep before. Oh, he's laughing. Oh my.
You hear him do it? He threw it.
He threw his headset.
He threw it.
He threw his headset off. He threw his headset off.
He closed the lid.
Oh, he closed the lid? Oh my gosh.
They were laughing for a solid minute. The contrast
that was
my
so
favorite part.
good.
I was so happy we got to that point.
That is so hard. You know how hard it is to do this?
I know.
The tandem?
I know. It's really good though. We did good teamwork.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Woo! Dude, that's their location right there. This is in Uttar Pradesh, Noida. And they're near Eco City Road. So there's like a huge tower right here.
I like the roundabout.
Yeah, it's a very nice roundabout. He's right near the Central Park, the jewel of Noida, Sector 75, the D block.
The virus works really well when we're on the phone with the scammers. I mean, it gets to the point where they basically have no choice but to just hang up. So that got us thinking, what if we run the virus while they're on the phone with an actual victim? If we could pull it off, not only are we saving someone, but we're also gonna scare the crap out of these guys.
Interesting.
Are there any scammers on?
Yeah, we have 96 scammers that are online right now. Just on one of our software. So we're choosing between one of those 96.
Ah, interesting.
We have a scammer downloading malicious software onto a victim's computer right now. So we're just gonna run a bunch of viruses and different things on his screen, and we're gonna see how he responds while he's scamming someone. What should we do first? Mouse jitter win.exe. Okay. Let's hope this works.
I see it.
Is it jittering?
Scroll down again.
Okay, let's see here. Mouse random drag.exe. Oh my gosh! It's working.
Okay, on your right hand corner, do you see?
This is blatantly going all the way to the left.
Oh,
it's
oh my gosh! It's working. Dude, he can't. Oh my gosh! Look. Oh, here we go. Oh, he can't move his mouse. He's trying to click. He's shutting down. Mid scam.
What kind of charges is getting to you? Okay, ma'am.
Alright, so this guy's in the middle of a scam, as you can hear. We're gonna disrupt the scam. We're gonna mess with this guy. Hopefully he
I
gets
will
mad.
do that for Joe as a
That's
joke.
the goal.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yes,
So,
that will be
mouse
so cute.
jitter
Helping
win.exe.
people.
I wonder what he's saying.
Oh,
हाँ वही तो निकाल के मैंने बनाया
look at the jitter.
हाँ पूरा तो नहीं पर जितना अपने को ये
here we go.
लोकेशन विकेशन और थोड़े बहुत जो क्वेश्चंस है वो मेरे को याद है
Mouse random drag.exe. So we're gonna randomly drag out.
अरे बाप रे जो करना था वो तो किया ही नहीं Verify.
We got him with the contrast, right?
अरे ये क्या हो रहा है
Oh, he's not happy.
ये क्या हो रहा है
Contrast single.exe.
It's only
Oh!
Oh, he ended the call.
He's restarting his trying.
Restart.
Oh, he restarted before I could. I like that though. It's really fun. It makes me very happy. So we got two guys already.
With what?
With the we just loaded all the viruses.
Just all of them at once?
He was very concerned as to what was happening.
Sure.
And he was having his buddy next to him like come over and like tell him what it was. And he was resetting.
I like the buddy coming over because that guy doesn't know either.
Yeah.
They love to do that. It's like, oh, come here, and the guy's probably looking.
If we get this plus,
that's weird.
He's on a different computer.
Sorry. We are somewhere here.
So mouse.
This man.
I like the buddy coming over because that guy doesn't know either.
Yeah.
They love to do that. It's like, oh, come here, and the guy's probably looking. He's like, yeah, just hit refresh on the desktop. I don't know.
So like his background's black with like red text and all this stuff, and he was just sitting there scamming a lady.
He shut down though.
Yeah,
So we saved the lady.
Both of the scams were stopped. And yeah, so that part's good.
Let's go, baby.
So it wasn't like too far down the road.
Right, yeah.
So that part was nice. So 2 people were saved, but so I think they're gonna restart and then come back. Sure. And if it keeps happening, which it's going to.
Right.
So I'm gonna hit him again. Oh, his contrast is so bad. All right, let's try to fix this.
0.4652.amd64FRE.GE_release boss and
What is going on?
7B01318.
What did I unleash on this guy's computer?
Windows default locks widgets pane widgets.
He's definitely gonna factory reset after that.
I need to take off his contrast so it's like fixed. Oh.
No, I'm in view.
Is fixed. All right, well, they don't want to play ball right now. Let's see if there's somebody else on. This guy's got so many files. We're just gonna troll this guy a little bit.
So this is a bank that you do bank with usually, right?
All right, mouse jitter. It's on.
This guy's about to get pissed.
mouse click.exe. So every random, like every few clicks, it's gonna be like do something random to him.
Your mouse, check your mouse. I think
No, check your mouse.
Working properly.
Check your mouse. Let's do volume up.exe.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Refund has been processed.
Mr. and
Transaction number is
He didn't even just he just
Please
said
log into your
Mr. and
bank to
Mrs.
accept the payment. Fund into your credit union. So for sake of verification that the money is going to the right hand, to the right person.
The Zoom.
There give you two options in
The
your
Zoom.
bank, which says accept the refund or decline the refund.
It's like four. Oh, he's resetting it.
Go ahead, log into your bank, and Google Chrome is not responding. Okay?
I wonder why.
Take your time and just log into your bank.
Mouse random drag. Here we go. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, they're closing. The victim's closing out.
Mouse.
I'm gonna hit him with the contrast, I think. All right. Oh. Oh, no padding. Yes. Tell him to call you back. Yes, I'm gonna call him back. This guy doesn't know what's happening. He's battling the victim's mouse and he's battling me. So let's mess with his mouse again.
4, 8.
All right, we're gonna hit him with the jittery mouse. He can't exit out. It's so good. This is so good. It makes me really Whoa. Hold on.
He definitely thought it was the victim's mouse. Now
he's shut down.
Straight to shut down.
Bye. Well, that's 3 scammers, 3 saved victims, and they don't know what hit them just from making their mouse move just a little bit. Don't get scammed.
How's it going? Think she's alive?
Within like a 10-day period, had like 8 or 9 overdoses.
They got Narcan in the trees. That's crazy.
You ever just had that feeling that's just so strong?
Yeah.
You can't fight it.
This is almost like a third world country. Way to cure them is dip them in acid. That's the truth.
This is Baltimore, Maryland, the drug overdose capital of America. But how did Baltimore end up looking like Chernobyl?
Raise your hand if you didn't grow up with a dad out here.
Hey, bro, without a father, yo.
Okay.
Why don't Americans care that cities like these are literally rotting to death? I pulled up to a part of town full of abandoned, overgrown buildings used as drug dens by the addicts, collapsing in real time and filled with needles from constant drug use. This place was hell.
All right, so we're gonna inspect this house here that apparently a couple people died in recently.
There was a higher density of needles on the ground here than anything I've ever seen anywhere else in America.
Needles everywhere out here. We think that's Trank or what? We got needles literally everywhere. Right over here, someone passed out. Imagine you live right here, right across the street. How's it going? Think she's alive? You sure? How can you tell? So she or he's passed out completely right now. You good? Making sure you're not dead. That's a great question. Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. Are you high?
No.
Okay.
I just buried my friend, man, 2 weeks ago. He got shot in his back of his head with an AK. 4 times in his back and once in the back of his head. Nothing really psyched me out about nothing.
And I imagine that's not an uncommon story out here, yeah? Lost one to... There's like gang stuff big out here?
There's a lot of gang stuff out here, yeah.
Like people territorial over blocks?
Yeah, it could be that. It get to that too.
I've never seen this. No, this is crazy. Because no one's collecting the trash out here. It's impressive, like in a sick way. This is something I've never seen.
Yeah,
Needle caps,
you
watch your feet. People that come out here and hand out needles and foil, like nonprofits, NGOs.
Yeah, they do that.
What are your thoughts on that?
People sell them. A lot of people sell them. I don't understand why they do it though. It's more like encouraging them to keep doing it.
Literally, countless needles behind us. She had no clue where she was. I bet you we can find a few more people as well. Got a pair of pants out here, creepy little teddy bear, and then just more needle caps all over the floor. You think anyone's in there? And we got some fresh needles right here. You see a lot of old ones, but I mean, fresh cap right there. Looks like. How many times have you died out here?
Hit on the pole about 3 times. Had a furnace blow up on me. Fallen 45 feet, broke the whole left side. About 8.
8.
But he keeps sending me back. Devil don't want me because he think I'm gonna hook up your air conditioning.
Can you pretty much do whatever you want?
Pretty much, as long as you have some tact about it. But a lot of people, like I say, just don't care. Sometimes I just don't care. That's when I check into the psych ward. Pay attention. What got you in trouble the first time used to keep you out of trouble the next time.
But look at the contrast between those two. That house right there falling apart between that one right there, fully lived in.
A lot of these houses were set afire purposely by the landlords, even though they don't reside in the city.
Like insurance fraud or what?
Yeah. How are you going to have a fire on this corner and on the opposite end of the block? You have a fire at the same time.
Sure.
Hey.
When it's not intentional, do you think it's drug users falling asleep, passing out?
Drug use.
Yeah.
And whenever the cops pulled up here, the residents warn each other by saying,
Well.
Oh, interesting. What's up? Yo. How's it going? How are you, man? We heard about these mass overdoses. What's going on there?
I don't know. I just got back from military leave. I'm trying to find out.
Okay, all right. Is this your beat?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on?
Just hanging out, man.
Yeah, what happened?
Foot patrol, man.
I see. That makes sense. Do you know how often like the needles and stuff like that get cleaned up out here?
3-on-1 request. Have someone come out and pick up the, the property and stuff like that. I would say daily.
Daily?
I mean, like whenever officers see it, they normally call it in, and it's someone coming, clean it up and stuff like that.
I mean, I guess there's a ton of needles over there.
Dude, we put in requests every day.
He says they have a dedicated app to call in messes. That definitely doesn't work.
The fact that you even need an app to drop a pin for like, hey, there's a bunch of needles here.
The needle density out here, worse than anywhere in America, maybe on Earth. Prostitute, 1 block forward, boom, schoolyard and a church. Richest country on the planet, they say. What the hell is this?
As we left this hood to drive to another hood, I stumbled upon a park overflowing with addicts using drugs and something unusual attached to the trees.
Oh, hold on, let me just show this real quick. They got Narcan in the trees. That's crazy. Growing like fruit. This place is no joke. The tree's literally growing the fruit of Narcan. Some crazy imagery.
The addicts here were now attaching Narcan to the trees, creating a sort of instant revival station at the park where they did their drugs.
We can sit here.
I want you to sit down right there.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, damn. Yeah, watch out for that.
Sit down right there.
You can put it. Oh, he threw it away. Good man. All right, now we can sit. How is life in Baltimore?
Terrible.
Man, life is hard. What you think it is? Life is hard everywhere.
Sure.
It's definitely hard here, for real. It's definitely dangerous, man.
What are you using? Fentanyl?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Fentanyl and crackle grain. That's it.
Do you see blues out here? I think
Perks?
it's perks with fentanyl.
Yeah, the perk 30.
Okay. You're smiling.
Yeah.
You're smiling too.
That's usually what you do first before you jump to like heroin.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I see a lot of track marks. Do you inject?
No, not at all.
No injections?
No, this is all from the xylazine, what it's done to. Heroin.
Holy
Heroin?
shit, that
You
sounds
inject?
horrible.
No,
You smoke it?
I sniff it.
Oh, you sniff it?
Yeah.
Do you use cocaine? Use anything else?
Dope.
Dope?
Yeah, heroin.
I mean, but the feeling is good, but the results is bad.
Great. It's not for everybody, but it does for awesome. It's awesome, great, especially for people in pain. It really does work for other people. It's just you can say fentanyl good, man. Yeah, this feel good. I like it.
Tell me about the low.
Man, the low is crazy. Y'all can see it out here. The low.
People passed out, dying?
Yeah.
How is it compared to heroin?
A lot stronger.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll take your ass out of here.
It's easy for me to choose drugs because when things don't seem to go my way, it's an easy cut to not do the right thing. And just for a moment, I have a little peace in my heart. And when I'm not using, it's very difficult to deal with life on life terms.
Sure.
You want it all the time. Even when you sleep, you find yourself awake wanting it. Yeah.
How many days do you find yourself going without sleep?
Oh, well, for me, I can go at least 3-4 days.
3-4 days no sleep.
Yeah, just constantly.
Crazy.
Well, that's how it is. Just constantly chasing all day.
And how many times you died out here?
Oh, I probably went out
10?
probably like 10, 12 times. I probably went out like 10, 12 times.
Probably about 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
I remember one week, within like a 10-day period, I probably had like 8 or 9 overdoses. I died once.
Twice. I only died once using.
Only once.
Yes. Oh, it scared me a hell of a lot. I didn't like the experience, one, because I never thought it would happen to me.
Yeah. Everyone thinks
Yeah,
they're invincible, right?
I thought I was obsolete for some reason, but it came to show that I'm not.
More you know, more you go out, the more susceptible you are to going out.
Okay. Does that ever make you second guess, like, maybe I shouldn't use the blues, or you just keep coming back?
Yeah, but you ever just had that feeling that's just so strong?
Yeah.
You can't fight it.
How many people have you resurrected yourself?
Oh, like 20.
How does it feel to die and come back to life?
It's weird because you don't remember anything.
Who brought you back both those times?
My kid's mother.
The mother of your children?
Yep, she brought me back both times.
How do you get your money to afford your drug addiction?
I mean, you know, you do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Do whatever it takes, you know. Sell, you know, steal, whatever.
Panhandle.
Panhandle?
My son's right over there. I need my flyer.
Homeless, please help. Thank you and God bless.
I steal every once in a while, man, but it's, jail ain't me.
Panhandling. It's, you know, I'm not big on stealing, so.
I think they might catch you if you try to steal, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to stop using xylazine or fentanyl?
Yeah, I did a nice substantial amount of clean time, I did.
Yeah.
And then how I ended up back out here, God knows.
You think you'll ever quit?
Fuck it, I have to redo it.
When?
I've been doing this.
Amazing.
I'll just say within the next month.
Next month?
In 3 weeks.
About another 2 weeks from now when I move in my new place.
The family wants to give me another shot, so
Oh my God.
I'm taking it.
Very soon. I just don't have a stop date.
Just got clean when I was 43, so I got 4 years, 3 months,
Blender,
and like 16
please.
days clean now.
Why?
So
You're clean?
Yeah, I'm clean. So I noticed like that. Cause I was ripping and running the streets, hustling, doing a lot of bad shit. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay, so you used to be one of the troublemakers out here.
So this shit, it don't bother me. I'm strong-minded now. You know, I try to give them advice, to get them help, get them into programs. That's what I do. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay,
Try
tell
to
me
get
about that, yeah.
You know what I mean? I give them advice, give them phone numbers to call people, to get them into programs and all of that type stuff. You know what I mean? When they want it. They can only do it when they want it.
What changed things for you?
The last time I OD'd, there was a look on my mother's face.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like a shame.
Shame?
Yeah, like I should know better. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was April 20th. My clean date is April 21st. So I've been clean since then, yeah.
Hell yeah. You see some people that weren't as lucky as you?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot.
How many people have you seen dead out here?
A couple.
Couple.
Yeah, ambulance get called real quick. Some of them survive, some of them don't.
Immediately after interviewing these folks, they told me to come over and record them getting high.
She's snorting right now. Oh, straight to it. Damn. Yeah, she's snorting right here. What are you doing? Snorting as well?
Yeah. We're smoking.
Oh, you're smoking. And then that looks intense right there. Is he adding alcohol to it?
Yeah.
That looks infected.
That looks terrible.
That's what come with it.
So you're smoking heroin right now?
Crack.
Crack. Okay. And you're about to smoke some crack as well?
Now I'm about to snort some.
Snort some. You snort, she's smoking. How often do you guys do this? Every day? Every day?
Every day, all day.
All right, guys. Be safe out here, all right? Insulin syringes with needle, 1 cc. So I imagine they hand these out, hand them out like candy. We got no.
Actually, guys, I'm gonna go take something to drink. I'll be right back. A minute. Because after this soft crush, I need a drink. But soon. Be back.
Narcan in the trees. They're getting high right now immediately after the interview, and his foot is falling apart. He's adding some antiseptic right now. He's gonna lose that foot. He's gonna lose that foot.
And after seeing the devastation of drug addiction up close, I went back to the hood to meet up with some local rappers who grew up here and are trying to get out.
I'm here with
Fat Sousa. Tez the one.
Where are we at right now?
Well, we Southwest Baltimore, my second hood.
How long you guys been out here? Just home?
It's home. I never left.
What about you?
Baltimore, I've been in Baltimore my whole life.
How is life out here?
It's what you make it. It's a lot pinned against you. You know, they give us all this so we can destroy ourselves. So you got mine, you want to get out. You get trapped by the drugs, you get trapped by that, you stuck.
So we got these abandoned buildings out here.
Right.
I don't see a lot of libraries out here. I see a lot of liquor stores, pizza shops, and wing stops out here. What do people do to get ahead out here? Are there a lot of opportunities?
Want to get out of here.
You want to get
You
out?
gotta really want to get out of here. Yeah. Take yourself around with people that don't want to get out of here.
Yeah. What are you guys up to right now?
Chilling. We
Chilling?
cooling. We down
What's
to
your name?
30. TWG Kyle.
Okay.
You really see how we want to look into this shit.
How is Baltimore?
Man, Baltimore chew you up and spit you out, man, just
Yep.
like that. That's if you let it, dog. Going to sleep to gunshots, you waking up to boy going hard, niggas selling drugs and shit. So
What's one thing you think Baltimore needs?
Guidance. We need a hero.
Talking like Batman?
It might sound funny. You know how grandmothers back in the day was? Grandmothers, they smack, you get on your ass, you punish. We need that in order for us to calm the fuck down. I mean, it ain't me running, it's them running. It's teenagers running. I'm grown and I'm about my business, had a son and all that. It's the kids running it. 12, 13, 14, the kids run bottom.
How is that possible?
Guns.
They like to shoot.
Oh my
Like,
god.
shoot. They don't want to talk, they want to kill.
And they like to kill and shoot way more than your generation?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So when you hear a gunshot out here, what goes through your mind?
We used to it.
Used to it? You don't even blink? Are there a lot of opportunities for people to grow up out here on this side of Baltimore?
hell, ain't no opportunities. Hell no, ain't no opportunity at all.
We gonna make one though.
What do a lot of people do out here to sort of get out of the hood?
Rap, basketball.
Let them hear what you eat rap.
This is some shit I be rap. I say,
Let's hear it.
said you got that gun that ain't gonna slide. You got that on for. They put that K beside our name, but ain't nobody dying. No, baby sexy bend it over. She
That
gon'
was
shake
rap.
that ass. He lost his mind. You think you sliming us? He died for cash. Like that though. You feel me? Like. We artists for real. We rap the event for real. It's not too much we can do in Baltimore City as young men to really vent other than violence for real. That's what they want us to do. We try
That's
to beat
how you do
ours
that.
by going against it with the music for real.
Man, all the old heads is in the feds or doing state time or dead. It's no guiding. They taking all the old heads or the old heads is strung out off drugs and like that. So it ain't no guidance.
No
That's
guidance,
the only
no
problem.
parenting. Raise your hand if you didn't grow up with a dad out here.
Hey, bro, who grew up without a father, yo?
Okay? So moms are stepping up out here. Everyone raise their hand.
I thought it was.
Almost, damn near.
Mothers, man, old strong black queens. They the ones.
I thought the dad thing was how do you call it? A stereotype. I thought it was it. It wasn't. Man.
Who keeps it all together.
Where the hell did the dads go?
Some deceased, some get locked up.
As black men, the fathers, we looking way stronger this generation. Like,
You guys are breaking that cycle.
yeah, hell yeah.
We talked to a few of the guys. Now
Sure,
we're gonna
mate,
go for a little
sure.
walk.
But real quick,
Have you ever gotten in a car accident that wasn't your fault or gotten hurt at work? Well, your injury could be worth millions, but insurance companies often lowball their clients. If you become Morgan & Morgan's clients, they'll fight to help get you the compensation that you deserve. Fighting big companies takes a big law firm, and as America's largest personal injury law firm, they're ready to take on insurance companies of every size. And Morgan & Morgan is so simple, you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all through your smartphone. All law firms are not the same, and Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason. They've won a lot. They've achieved significant verdicts in the past couple of months for victims involved in life-altering car crashes, such as $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, and $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times the highest insurance offer. And you don't have to pay them anything unless you win your case. If you work with Morgan & Morgan, they'll fight to get back what you deserve, and they've already won over $25 billion for their clients. So you can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/Tyler Oliveira, link in description, or scan the
I don't know
QR
what
code
happened
on
here.
screen
I
using
had to
your
go
phone's
this
camera. Thanks,
weird
Morgan & Morgan.
way to fix
Back
it.
to the hood.
This my brother that I was talking about, the actual black father with his kid, right?
How you doing, man? We're using you as an example of a good father.
Appreciate that, yeah, that's my Lord.
That's awesome.
This our future right here, you feel me?
Did you grow up with a dad? Yeah.
Nah, that shit big.
And what's your name?
My name Bone, what's your name?
Tyler. Because I was seeing a lot of liquor stores. I was like, damn, where do people get
This
there?
store right here, they trying to shut down.
Why?
Too much happening, that's all.
Yeah.
Shut down out right
Rite Aid's over the shop.
Oh, all the Rite Aid's gone.
We had Wendy's.
Why did they shut down the Rite Aids?
City.
You guys lost a lot of places out here.
A lot.
When it comes to the fiends out here, the people using drugs, overdosing, they just pass out in these trap houses out here or what?
Anywhere. You might walk past one. Yeah.
Huh?
Like zombie line, bro.
Sure.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. In the wintertime, they most likely in the trap house. They around overdosing. But in the summertime, you feel around, catch them laid out.
Just walking around.
Hell yeah, in the alley.
And they sell all sorts of objects too. When did you guys all start noticing zombies out here though?
2015. That's probably when the fentanyl hit the street.
2015.
So it wouldn't be a surprise to see someone passed out.
10
in the
years.
alley, right?
No, hell no, that ain't no surprise, man. Hell no. Only thing I can do is just make the best out of my situation. It used to piss me off,
Sure.
but it don't no more. Hell no.
Do they ever clean this up? They don't do shit. Damn.
You need a black little small Harlem business, like a little personal Harlem business to come clean this shit.
But I will say, no needles right here.
Is he?
Price got like
6 to 8 people.
Right.
If you look at these roofs, they're crumbling. This is fully overgrown right here. Fucking grown out of the window. So when I see the alcohol out here, is this paying your respects to someone that's died? Is that?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 you see that paying
Yeah.
respect to somebody that died.
Oh, the floor is literally falling apart. It's like a different city, man.
That's where the zombies go at night. This trap pole right here, bro. Bro died right here in this house, you hear me? Be honest and tell him how he died, though.
Wow.
Bro was taking Xannies and E-pills and all that, you
Okay.
feel me? Got his little money, got his little lead check for real, you feel me?
Yeah.
Shit just went left. The day he died,
feel
bro
me, yeah.
cried on my shoulder, like right here. Like, told me he can't take it no more, he wanna die. His mother was dead, his grandmother was on a deathbed, you feel me? And his brother did some shit we ain't gonna speak on, but he couldn't take no more, bro. And that same day he cried on my shoulder and told me he wanted to die. He died right here on this couch, bro.
How'd that make you feel?
No, listen, right? Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
It did make me feel bad because how the situation happened, it just felt like I could have did more at that time. You get what I'm saying? How he was passed out. I'm just thinking he passed out. The whole time he's his breath, his breathing, his heart rate is slowing down. He losing oxygen, but I'm just thinking he passed
Oh,
out. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, if I knew better, I'd do better. You hear me? And I could have helped him, bro. Yeah, one of my childhood friends grew up in here. I thought his name was Fonte, matter of fact.
Well, we can only hope the floor doesn't cave in. We got a little basement down here. In your lifetime, it went from livable
Oh,
to
yes,
this.
sir. Yes, sir. Look, you remember the AU cookout I was telling you about, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is everybody right here.
Right here. So this is every year. Oh, supplies for everyone who's died.
Yeah.
That's-
It's
Yeah.
for them. We got
Ah,
probably
cool.
like 2 more people to that. Within that year, we got add 2 more people to that.
That's pretty sad.
No, it's saying because it's usually a lot of people. In the year, we only lost 2 more of our family members to add on there instead of it being like 10, 15, 20. Like,
Yeah.
Look.
How you doing, Shotty? How are you?
I'm from the shop.
I saw you whipping out that pistol. How's your night going?
Pistol.
Oh, okay, my bad. What's your name? I'm not a Fed.
King Tut. That camera is cute.
Whoa. You got a safety on that? Woo, you're making me nervous. You want to say hello to the world?
Hi, world.
Oh my gosh.
What do you do out here for a living?
I'm a landlord.
You own a lot of property out here?
Lord with a gun.
Well said.
See y'all.
All right, see you later. She was
Yes.
throwing that pistol
Yes.
around pretty loosely.
got no safety.
After seeing life
US
up
is
close
so
in the
fucked up.
trenches, I met up with another hustler in South Baltimore to hear how life was in his block.
Crazy.
Where are we at right now?
We're in South Baltimore, man. South Baltimore, Brooklyn area.
Do I look federal or no?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure?
For sure.
Damn.
Sure, then
What,
you got
what, it's the hat. They keep saying the pink hat, man. What do most people do for a living around here?
Work, 9
Yeah,
to
some
5.
jungle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got some hustlers. You know what I'm saying? You got some prostitutes. You got... It's poverty. 12, yo. 12 coming in the alley, yo. So I'm going to tell them. 12. I don't give a where. If I hear somebody say 12, I'm saying it. Just cause.
You know people that got locked up?
Hell yeah. Free them boys. Free Baby Gangster. Free Jizz. Free Dave Black. Long Leg Keys. Free Slice Nuts. Free Ty Boogie. Niggas gonna be mad as shit at me. I'm forgetting free Trey Pound.
There's a lot of guys.
There's a lot of niggas. Hell yeah.
What are people getting locked up for around here? Anything?
Guns.
Guns?
Guns, violence.
Like you got a lot of kids that you
Jeez.
grew up with?
That passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a
Is
lot.
that common out here?
Yeah, Long Leg Keys to the city. My brother got killed right there.
Damn.
On that step yank.
People getting shot over dumb stuff or?
You see where the spray paint at? His
Oh, right over there? Yeah, I
that's
did see this.
That's his
That's your
Long
brother.
Leg Keys.
Completely abandoned, trap star, paper chaser, RIP paper chaser. Damn.
That's what he was.
Right here. He was a paper chaser?
That boy was a trap star, paper chaser.
So when you were a kid, these houses, people lived in them?
Yeah. Then my homeboy Fat Ass, he got killed right here. Long left Fat Ass, man. Another homeboy got killed on the side street right there. Little Wop got killed on the street that we was just on. He was 16 when he got killed.
Damn.
Got killed where we was just talking at.
They call me Black.
Black?
Yeah.
Okay, I see that.
Look. Yeah, I got a store right up in here, right?
Okay, should we come inside?
The best fried ribs.
Let's go.
Kitchen is so clean, you see everything is in order.
Take a look.
Everything nice and neat.
Out here, everyone has a hustle. From cooking the best fried ribs in town, to designing clothes, to selling your body on the streets.
Tricks are for kids. Here we are. My name is Tyler. Good to meet you. What's up? Are you down for a brief interview?
Yeah.
All right.
But real quick,
I'd be like going down the
Oh my
road.
God.
if you want to support our boots on the ground, independent journalism that is not bought and paid for by corporate interests, along with exclusive DLC content that YouTube won't let me upload, and uncensored early access to all my videos before they go up on YouTube, go subscribe at patreon.com/Tyler Oliveira for less than $5 a month.
What's your name?
Brown sugar.
Brown Sugar. What are you up to?
Brown sugar.
Nothing. Chilling. Just
Brown sugar.
enjoying the weather, I guess.
Heard. What do you do for a living, Brown Sugar?
I'm not gonna enclose on too many details.
Does it involve making people happy?
Yes.
Do you enjoy the work you do?
Yes, I do, to an extent, but I'm surviving. Yeah.
Actually, let me ask you this: how long have you been doing the work you do?
I'll say like maybe 3 years.
What got you into this field of work?
Money.
I mean, at a point, it's pretty much. I started off with sugar daddy, and then from there, it just gradually escalated up.
How was Baltimore?
For the most part, it's pretty all right. You're gonna get your ups and your downs, of course, but
Now we're being a little silly right now, but is the field of work you're in dangerous?
of course, yes,
Yeah.
of course, especially during the nighttime, I guess. I mean, the streets are dangerous, period, regardless of what you do, especially being a woman nowadays.
And you seem like a sweetheart. How long do you think you'll be out here doing this?
Not more fucking long, okay? Not longer, not much longer, not much longer.
But has Baltimore always been this depressing? I found this old white guy sitting on his porch who gave me his history of the town.
We don't die on 911.
20 years.
Why did it happen?
Old people died off,
Yeah.
and slumlords bought it, and they let them run them down, and now those you're seeing,
Yeah.
drug addict prostitutes and that one,
Oh, right across the street?
and bums, yeah, they've been going on with drugs around here forever. I've never seen so much crap since the mayor and the governor's been in office. The governor hasn't done anything.
In your lifetime, have you seen Baltimore die in some ways?
Yeah, people lived there. I mean,
How was this community when you were 14?
when I was 14, it was really nice.
Yeah.
People took
Yeah.
care of the sidewalks.
Yeah, about when you were 14. When you were 14, and I was costed for your 2 salary. Yep, 2 salaries.
And steps. We're getting new piping.
When did you start noticing the fentanyl and the drug addicts out here?
About 15 years.
Is that new? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a joke. If we had a real mayor, this wouldn't be going.
Is this area lawless?
Hell yeah, this is almost like a third world country.
Are you like squatting? I don't care. I'm curious.
I'm just watching the house warming.
For like a friend?
Yeah.
Got it. You from Baltimore?
Yeah.
How have you seen the city change in your lifetime?
None really. I mean, it's
None. Same old.
Mm-hmm.
If you were the mayor right now, what would you change about Baltimore?
These houses would be tore down or
Yeah, that's why they're
refixed.
burning them,
Fix
no?
the sidewalks, fix the streets. I fell in a hole right there. At 11 o'clock at night, I fell in. It just dropped right there
fell
behind the car. It
fell
was.
And how is life in Baltimore?
To me, it sucks.
Sucks. Why?
I just don't like it here anymore. I mean, all these drug addicts, it's just ain't what it used to be.
What do you think the biggest thing has led to that change?
The drug dealers.
Drug users?
Yeah.
Fentanyl?
Whatever they can get, I guess.
Yeah.
Cocaine, heroin, pills.
How would you rate Baltimore out of 10?
0.
0. What do you think your tax dollars go towards here in Baltimore?
Feeding people that don't that came in our country, housing. I've never seen people in houses out there that didn't have nothing. They're taking all the benefits. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They give them free shoes. They give them free everything.
What are you talking about?
I have to leave. I can't buy a damn
They're
house.
the actual one paying taxes.
Where else?
Can you sell this? Is this house sellable?
Yeah, it's sellable. I made a big mistake by buying these two houses. Now I'm 75 and I don't have the kind of money.
And did you experience a lot of white flight in this neighborhood at some point?
It was all white.
Oh, this was all white?
Yeah.
Now it's like what, mostly black?
I'd say mixed.
Yeah. Is this the worst it's ever been?
And it's getting worse. Got a tree growing out of that one. I mean, kidding you.
What do you think it should be done with all the drug addicts out here?
The
Foil?
only way to cure them is dip them in acid. That's the truth.
After speaking with this old man, frustrated at the direction of his city, a few blocks over, I was surprised to notice a Rolls Royce and a group of Mexicans celebrating something.
That's sick.
I wanted to do a steering wheel on the other side.
This is sick.
Yeah, thank you.
We're like, there's a Rolls Royce out here.
And the hood, right?
In the hood.
But we're gonna make this the hood, actually. This type of cars will be riding on this.
Oh my god.
Okay, you're gonna build up the community out here?
We're gonna buy it.
You're gonna buy it all up?
All of us. That's the goal.
Are you from here?
Yes.
Now you see what's going on?
Can I see? Let's go.
You go inside, go inside.
This is what we're doing right now in Baltimore.
They're revitalizing the houses. Let's see. Dang, this place is pristine. How's it going?
This is the office right here.
This is sick. The glass, too.
And this guy showed me what one of these houses could look like if someone fully renovated it.
I think this shows the optimistic future this community could have. People move in with some desire to live a good life, build a family,
Yeah,
treat
sure.
the place with love. I
The
think there's
Mexican
potential
would
here.
sell
We got a Rolls
the
Royce
drugs.
right here. What the hell? How'd you get the Rolls Royce?
On what company?
Yeah, how did you afford the Rolls Royce?
Oh, we do it remodeling.
Okay.
We
So that's
buy
your-
and sell.
Got it.
And keep.
And you guys are gonna buy and sell here, sort of renovate some of the properties?
Renovate properties, and you know, you don't have to invest so much money.
So you're gonna renovate a lot of these houses and then rent them out via the government to people in Section 8?
And it doesn't have to be Section 8, it can be anybody. But you know, mostly it's the government, you know, the money's there every time, every month. Yeah, and
that's how you have a Rolls Royce.
Of course.
You have an abandoned house like this, worth basically nothing, a blight to the community. You invest 120K into it, boom, the properties go up in value out here. It's better to live out here. You have people who have more care for the environment out here, but maybe more expensive to live out here and own property. There's trade-offs to everything, but I would argue way better than leaving this house abandoned as a trap house for drug addicts to use and kill themselves in.
And shout out to Official Heart of the City for connecting us out here with everyone, showing us around town, and making sure we didn't get shot.
One of the biggest socio-political topics in recent years has been the emerging Gen Z gender divide. Data from recent elections across several Western democracies, including the US, UK, Germany, and South Korea, highlights this trend, with young women increasingly turning to left-wing political parties and young men continuing to vote for the right. So in this video, we'll explore the
I wondered why. I do wonder. Men voting for the policy that benefits them the most, and women doing the same. I wonder why.
UK's Gen Z gender divide, and why, despite most media reports implying the gap is due to young men's rejection of feminism or gendered social media echo chambers, there's at least some data suggesting the reasons for the divide may be more economic than social.
It's only economic, it's not social, it's just economic.
Never miss an episode and always feel in the loop by subscribing and ringing the bell. We'll start with a quick summary of the relevant research. In early 2024, Dr. Alice Evans, a senior researcher at King's College London, and the Financial Times' data analyst John Byrne-Murdoch simultaneously published 2 pieces on gendered ideological polarisation, finding that young women across Western democracies are becoming more liberal compared to young men. This was then picked up by other media outlets, including TLDR News, with reports often focusing on the apparent backlash against feminism driven by male influencers like Andrew Tate, or the difference in media consumption between young men and women. In the UK, recent surveys do suggest a growing divergence in attitudes towards gender equality between young men and women. A March 2025 Ipsos KCL study found that Gen Z men and women are more divided than any other generation on attitudes towards feminism and gender roles, with 60% of British Gen Z men, compared to 38% of Gen Z women, believing that men are expected to do too much to support equality, and 57% of Gen Z men, compared to 36% of Gen Z women, believing that we have gone so far in promoting women's equality that we are discriminating against men. Perhaps surprisingly, Gen Z men are also the most likely to agree with the statement, "A man who stays at home to look after his children is less of a man," with 28% agreeing compared to 19% of women. When we look at voting patterns, we see that over the past 2 decades, women appear to have shifted towards more socially progressive parties, while men remain about as conservative as they've historically been. For context, throughout most of the 20th century, according to the National Centre for Social Research, British women were marginally more right-wing than men, due to higher religiosity and lower exposure to left-wing institutions like trade unions. However, as gender roles shifted and newer generations of women moved into education and employment, their party support shifted to the left. But thinking about Gen Z specifically, what's driving the gender divide in the UK? Well, there's at least some evidence to suggest that the main cause of this divide in the UK is economic, rather than social. As we've mentioned, many articles ascribe the gender divide to a backlash against feminism among young men, and to algorithms pushing gendered content. But it's possible instead to view the Gen Z gender divide as at least partly a consequence of the economic crisis currently facing young people in the UK, which arguably began under austerity measures in the 2010s, and which has been worsened by Brexit, the pandemic, and the energy crisis in recent years. To support this idea, let's take a look at this 2019 LSE blog post on austerity and the gender age gap. These tables show that, in 2015 and 2017, both UK general election years, women were more likely than men to say that their living standards, household financial situation, the general economic situation, and the NHS had got worse, or would get worse in the next year. Moreover, younger women, aged under 35, were consistently more likely than older women, aged 35 to 64 or 65 plus, to think that their economic situation had got worse, or would get worse.
What?
Specifically, in 2017, young women were 23 points more likely than young men to think that the general economic situation would get worse over the next year. This pessimism wasn't especially surprising, given previous research indicating the disproportionate impact of austerity measures on women, who are generally more reliant than men on state services, welfare payments, and are more likely to work in the public sector. What's interesting, though, is how this translated into voting patterns. The study showed that, at both the 2015 and 2017 elections, young women were significantly more likely to vote Labour and less likely to vote Conservative than young men, with this roughly mapping onto under 35s. Meanwhile, there was little difference between women's and men's voting choice above 35, suggesting that young women's economic pessimism was associated with a greater likelihood of voting Labour, with its anti-austerity policies. Looking at the 2019 and 2024 general elections, again we see a stark difference in voting trends between young men and women. At the 2019 election, while there was only a small gender gap overall, there was a notable gender gap between young men and women, with 65% of 18 to 24-year-old women compared to 46% of 18 to 24-year-old men voting Labour, while roughly twice the share of young men compared to young women voted Conservative. Then, in 2024, while roughly the same share of young men and young women voted for Labour or the Lib Dems, almost twice the share of young women to young men voted for the socially left-wing anti-austerity Greens, 23% to 12%, while double the share of young men compared to young women voted for the right-wing parties Reform UK or the Conservatives. Meanwhile, surveys continue to show that young women in the UK are the most pessimistic about the future of the economy. An Ipsos survey from 2023 found that young women aged 18 to 34 were 18 points more likely than young men to think the general economic situation would get worse in the next year, while young people overall were more pessimistic than older age groups. Bearing in mind the earlier study on the correlation between young women's economic pessimism and voting patterns, this again suggests that young women will increasingly turn to more left-wing, possibly populist parties that offer anti-austerity policies. More broadly though, research suggests that when faced with economic insecurity, people are more likely to vote for populist parties, which probably explains why more young men voted for reform than the Conservatives in 2024. Now, before we conclude, we should also say that algorithms and gendered narratives on social media almost certainly contribute to ideological polarization between Gen Z men and women too. However, this social polarization is more likely a symptom of the broader economic crisis facing Gen Z, which breeds anger, resentment, and zero-sum thinking, i.e. the idea that if one group succeeds, then another loses out, all of which then gets amplified by social media. Ultimately, Gen Z men and women probably have more struggles in common than they have differences, from the cost of living crisis to housing unaffordability. To prevent the gender divide from widening, with potentially severe impacts for fertility rates and the future workforce, the government needs to address the economic crisis facing Gen Z and millennials, or things will only get worse. Everything we've discussed in today's video plays into a broader sense of uncertainty in the world at the moment. And who's so often in the middle of all that? Well, the United States. So in the next issue of our magazine Too Long, we're discussing this geopolitical shift, and whether we're currently observing the end of the American order. In that section, we discuss everything from the collapse of democratic norms in the US to the decline in American soft power, to issues with the US economy or the battle for universities, before discussing who could potentially take over in a post-America world. So if you want to find out what we really think, now's your chance. It's not just the US though. This issue is our longest ever at 78 pages, full of our very best journalism and analysis. So we also get into why Germany's military might is growing, if Farage could become the UK's Prime Minister, why countries are outsourcing their migrants, why the global order is collapsing with Professor James Kerr-Lindsay, and why leaders like Putin and Netanyahu seem to be getting away with it. The magazine has now been officially published, so if you order a copy today, we'll ship it to you as soon as we can. Or if you select the digital edition, we'll send a digital version of Too Long straight to your inbox. Plus, if you want the best deal, make sure that you subscribe to Too Long. That way, not only do you get every issue going forward, you'll also get 20% off every copy as long as you're a member. On top of that, this week only, if you use code LASTCHANCE20, you'll get an additional 20% off this copy, bringing down the cost from £9.99 to £6.40 for a digital edition, or £13.99 to £8.96 for a physical edition. This really is your last chance too. From next week, all new subscribers won't receive this issue of Too Long, instead having to wait until December's The New Middle East issue. So if you want the reduced subscriber pricing on this issue, this really is your last chance. As we outlined in our recent video on TLDR's finances, TLDR actually made a loss last year, and Too Long is a big part of our plan to make TLDR profitable in 2025 to continue funding the free videos we
Alright, yeah, you're right. I was saying that I'm going to the toilet 1 second, and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Sorry. I'm back. I'm back. Okay.
Release every day. So
Hundreds of thousands of Shock Channel 4 news viewers watched on television on the 4 o'clock news.
San Diego looked like a war zone. We'll show you the incredible rampage by a hijacked tank.
And then gradually, I thought, well, he's not moving, and well, there must be something wrong. And my wife said, oh, there can't be anything wrong because they would have cut it out. And I said, no, it's live.
We are getting reports that your son has been found alive in your basement.
What?
You don't turn on the TV expecting to see something awful, but when it happens, you remember it for the rest of your life.
It's
These are
true.
the most disturbing moments that aired on TV. We'll begin with the lighter stuff and work our way to the worst of the worst. So my goal this year is to give you guys double the amount of videos without sacrificing quality. To do that, we gotta keep growing, and it would mean the world to me if you follow me right now on this app, and I will do my very best to make the best videos I possibly can on Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The Flying Priest. In
Flying
April
priest.
2008, Brazilians saw something
What?
insane on TV. A Catholic priest floated into the sky, but it wasn't magic. The priest
What?
tied 1,000 helium balloons to a chair. Then he strapped himself in. That's how he got off the ground. TV cameras caught
Well,
the whole thing. At
how
first,
do you
it
get
looked
down
beautiful,
now?
but what happened next made it one of the most
You
disturbing
like boobs?
things
I
ever
think
shown
everybody
on live
like
TV.
boobs.
So let's start with the biggest question. Why was a priest trying
That's a silly question. That's always a. Or am I supposed to say I don't like it? Who doesn't like boobs?
to fly in the first place? The priest's name was Father Adelier Antonio de Carli, and he had a reputation as a troublemaker.
Trying
But it
to
wasn't
animate.
because he caused harm. He was considered a troublemaker because he was determined to help people.
You can
no matter what it took. Father Carli
add
fought to protect human
physics,
rights. He argued
and they
with
jiggle
city
like
officials.
crazy.
He led protests. He didn't care about danger as long as he was helping someone. Then around 2007, he got another idea to help people. It might have been the riskiest idea he ever had. Hundreds of truck drivers passed through Father Carli's town, and he loved preaching to these truckers. So he started building a roadside chapel meant to provide spiritual assistance to truckers. It was a place where truck drivers could park, rest, and hear about God. But building this church would cost a lot of money. So he came up with a plan to get donations. He would break a world record. Father Carli planned to fly for 19 hours using balloons. That would break the record for cluster ballooning, or the longest time flying with helium balloons. If it
That's a
succeeded,
cool
he
idea.
would get attention, and that attention would bring donations. It sounded like a straightforward plan, but things started going wrong well before liftoff. The first problem happened when Father Carli signed up for paragliding lessons. He ended up getting kicked out because he disobeyed his trainer. The school called Father Carli an inexperienced and undisciplined student. Getting kicked out messed up his training, but it didn't stop him. That brings us to April 2008, the day of the balloon flight.
This is Reverend Adelier Antonio de Carli, just moments before he set out on an ambitious journey to fly 465 miles using small helium-filled
Oh my
party
god,
balloons.
this
It was
guy's gonna
raining,
die.
But he refused to cancel the flight.
Isn't it stubbornness flying in this rain?
There will only be good weather during my flight.
Brazilian TV showed the priest floating into the sky, and then everything went wrong. Father Carli wanted to
This
fly
guy's gonna
towards the
die.
city of Dorados, but nature had other plans. Strong winds pushed him in the wrong direction over the open ocean. He rose to 19,000 feet. That's twice as high as he expected. Then he suddenly descended to about 8,200 feet. It was like a roller coaster ride. Father Carli sent a message to his team on the ground.
Later that night, he told his crew by satellite phone that he would not be able to complete the planned flight and that he was beginning to descend over the ocean.
A few hours later, he sent another message. He told them, "I need to contact someone who can teach me how to operate this GPS so I can give the latitude and longitude coordinates, which is the only way that people on the ground can know where I am." Unfortunately, nobody was able to explain it properly, and he was
Oh my
drifting
God.
over nothing but the ocean. That was the last time they heard from him. Rescue teams launched immediately. The Brazilian Navy and Air Force and helicopters,
They didn't find
planes,
him.
and boats. His church prayed for a miracle. TV reporters gave updates.
Fire department officials say they're focusing their search on the southern coast of Brazil. Winds apparently had pushed DeCarli about 31 miles off the coast.
2 days after he disappeared, search teams saw a bunch of balloons in the ocean, but there was no sign of Father Carly. People hoped he was
dead.
floating somewhere waiting to be rescued. But days passed, then weeks, there was still no sign of him. 3 months later, tugboat workers saw a body in the water. It was off the coast of southeastern Brazil. DNA tests confirmed that it was Father Carly. Father Carly floated into the sky on TV, but passed away alone in the ocean. Some called him brave, others called him reckless, but everyone agreed that what he did was for a good cause. There are millions of interviews on TV, but this next one became evidence in a criminal case. The man who played with fire. In 2014, firefighters in Maryland were putting out a house fire, but the flames were out of control. It got so bad that more than 70 firefighters showed up to prevent it from spreading.
And the fire was really fierce. Take a look at the siding of this home, just burnt to a crisp.
One thing was obvious, this fire was no accident. Firefighters believed that someone intentionally started the fire, but they had no clue who did it. It seemed like the case would take weeks to solve, and then something happened. In the middle of the chaos, a man walked up to a news crew and said this.
Me, I set it on fire.
And he wasn't kidding. Just like that, this went from a serious fire to a crazy confession caught on camera. And everyone watching probably had the same question. Why? The man called himself Carlos. He actually lived in that house. Even worse, 3 of his roommates were home at the time of the fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but he didn't seem ashamed. In fact, he looked proud. When reporters asked how he did it, Carlos gave them a full play-by-play.
I just poured gasoline on the floor, set it on fire, and went to buy a drink and came back.
But the real question wasn't how, it was why.
When asked why, Carlos repeatedly claimed he wanted police and the media to know about what he called deplorable living conditions inside this home.
Carlos said he told the police about the awful conditions, but they ignored him. So his next best idea was to burn the whole place down. As crazy as all this sounds, Carlos had one last surprise up his sleeve. After confessing to the reporters, Carlos walked over to the police officers at the scene and he confessed again. Officers arrested him on the spot. He was charged with reckless endangerment and arson. Police later said his on-camera confession was a crucial piece.
That's what
Nobody could understand
my
why
girl
Carlos
would do
admitted to his crime on live TV. But
if
his
she see a
family
fire
had
in the
an
house.
explanation.
If
They said Carlos
she
was
see a
struggling
spider.
with mental issues and alcoholism. It's unclear what happened to Carlos after the arrest, but one thing's certain: the fire caused $400,000 in damage. This next chapter is also about a crime, but this one was broadcast live. The Berlin Poker Heist. The European Poker Tour is the largest poker tournament in the world. Thousands of gamblers show up to compete, and the winner walks away with life-changing money. In 2010, the grand prize was $1.36 million. Organizers booked a luxury hotel for the German leg of the event. It was streamed live online and on select TV channels. On March 6th, players showed up for another day of poker, but that day was going to be special for all the wrong reasons. At exactly 2:15 p.m., the tournament descended into chaos.
With the tournament's own TV camera rolling, the action unexpectedly moved off the table when 4 masked men shouted robbery and stormed the Berlin hotel ballroom.
Ouch.
The robbers wore masks and carried different types of weapons, including a machete. People screamed and hid under the tables. But the intruders weren't there to rob the players. Their sights were set on one thing: the bags of cash at the registration desk. They snatched the money and made for the exit. Then things got messier. A security guard tried to stop them. It was like a clumsy game of tag. But in the end, all 4 robbers managed to escape. They made away with about $250,000. And they did it in front of the cameras, broadcast around the world. But the live robbery wasn't the dumbest thing they did, because these guys made mistakes at every stage, before, during, and after the robbery. Turns out one of the robbers played in the tournament before the robbery. He signed up so he could get in, scout the building, and study the security.
Let's try to win
Even
first,
with
and
all
then
that
I will
prep,
robber.
It didn't take long for police to identify them. They probably realized the cops were closing in, because less than a week later, one of the robbers turned himself in. And then he snitched on the rest of his gang. It only took 2 weeks for all 4 to be arrested. In 2011, they were sentenced to between 3 to 6 years in prison, but the money they stole was never found. Up next is a case of desperation and revenge.
What a pussy.
The man with nothing to lose. In 1995, Sean Nelson's life was a mess in every sense of the word. He was only 35, but he had been kicked out of the army for disciplinary issues. Then his wife left him. His business collapsed. His house was being foreclosed upon, and he started taking substances. Sean was broken and bitter, and when he finally snapped, it became breaking news on TV. On May 17, 1995, Sean snuck into the National Guard Armory in San Diego, and he went straight to where they kept the tanks. He climbed into an M60A3 tank and got it running. Remember, Sean served in the military, so he knew his way around the tank. By the time someone at the armory tried to stop him, it was too late. Sean was already rolling that tank into the city of San Diego.
In real life.
The tank moved through the streets at 30 miles per hour, destroying everything in its path.
There was no ammunition in the tank, but
And
Nelson left
then
a trail
things
of
got-
crushed cars, broken utility poles, and gushing fire hydrants.
He knocked out power to over 5,000 people, and at one point he tried to collapse a bridge by ramming its supports. Police followed in cars and helicopters, but following didn't stop him. TV stations interrupted regular programs to air the chase live.
58 tons of war machine on a rampage in San Diego.
After 25 minutes of chaos, Sean drove the tank into State Route 163, and the tank got stuck. The police saw their chance. Officers climbed into the tank. They used bolt cutters to break through the hatch. Then they ordered Sean to surrender and get out of the tank. He refused, and because they didn't know if he was armed and dangerous, they fired. Sean didn't make it. The next day, that San Diego street looked like a war zone. He flattened at least 40 cars. The damage ran into hundreds of thousands of dollars.
A man who reportedly had emotional and financial problems got a hold of an army tank last evening and took it on a wild ride through.
By some miracle, no one else lost their life. What happened to Sean was a tragedy. He was struggling with mental health problems, and in the end, he just couldn't hold on. This next case is about a family whose darkest secret was exposed on live TV. The Secret in the Basement. Charlie
the
Bothell
basement.
went missing on June 14th, 2014, and his entire neighborhood started searching for him.
Take a close look at Charlie. Missing.
This is my son, Charlie.
His friends knock on door after door.
Charlie was only 12. Naturally, his parents were panicking. At least that's what it looked like. His father, Charles, called the police, and a nationwide search began. Flyers were posted all over Detroit. Investigators swept through the house. Even cadaver dogs were brought to sniff through the home and the neighborhood, but they found nothing. 11 days passed, and there was still no sign of Charlie. His dad didn't give up. He went on TV pleading for help. Then, during a live interview on Nancy Grace, the story changed.
The father of the missing boy, Charlie, with me is his father, Charlie Bothell.
Charles was explaining his son's disappearance when Grace interrupted him.
We are getting reports that your son has been found in your basement.
Charles
The
was
shock.
shocked, or at least he looked shocked. For several seconds, he was speechless. His reaction went viral. Millions of people didn't get it. How do you miss your own child in your own basement? Charles insisted that there was nothing shady going on.
For anybody to imply that I somehow knew that my son was in the basement, it's absurd and it's wrong.
He even offered to take a lie detector test on camera. Still, something didn't add up, and the truth was more disturbing than anyone expected. Police found Charlie in the basement, hiding behind a pile of boxes. When they heard a story, they decided to keep him away from his dad and stepmom. Charlie said his stepmom ordered him to go to the basement and not come out no matter what he hears. And right after that, she made a call.
He then says she called his dad and said that she didn't know where Charlie was and couldn't find him.
It sounded like the stepmom faked the whole thing, but Charlie said his dad wasn't innocent either. He gave many examples of how his dad treated him badly. Charles and his wife were immediately arrested. Then came the trial, and the kid testified.
Second time now, a brave young man took the stand to testify against his own father and stepmother.
Convicted, the parents faced life in jail, but in 2016, the dad accepted a plea deal. He avoided prison, got probation, and lost custody of his son. The stepmom took a deal too. More importantly, Charlie was safe. He went to live with other relatives. This next TV moment gives us a glimpse into the mind of a killer. The suspicious interview. Lauren Giddings was weeks away from becoming a lawyer. Then she disappeared. Local news showed up to cover the mystery, but they accidentally filmed one of the most disturbing moments ever caught on TV. In June 2011, no one could reach Lauren. She wasn't even answering her phone, so her friends went to her apartment in Georgia to check on her. But when they arrived, things only got weirder. Lauren's door was locked. They knocked and knocked, but no one answered. That's when Stephen McDaniel appeared. Stephen was the awkward guy next door. He mostly kept to himself, but now he was suddenly very involved. Stephen stood outside with Lauren's friends, asking questions, looking worried. It felt a little strange, but no one thought much of it. Later that day, Lauren was officially reported missing. Police launched a search of the area. That's when Stephen's behavior got even more suspicious. Lauren lived in an apartment complex. All the neighbors agreed to let police search their places. All the neighbors except Stephen. Stephen claimed he was just always protective of his space. But the search for Lauren didn't last long. A few hours later, police found her. She was in this trash bin right outside the building, lifeless. That meant there was a killer on the loose. Reporters rushed to the scene. They started talking to neighbors, trying to get the full story. One of those interviewed was Stephen McDaniel, the awkward neighbor, the same guy who refused to let the police search his apartment.
Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday.
He even gave the reporter his own theory.
The only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her.
Based on his comments, Stephen didn't know the cops already found Lauren, so the reporters decided to tell him.
The parking lot area, I know they've been doing a lot of, I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Stephen's face dropped. His reaction looked like shock or maybe even fear.
Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Soon that reaction would go viral online. After what happened to Lauren, police started questioning everyone around her. Since Stephen lived next door, he was brought in right away. But his attitude made it obvious he was hiding something. No matter what detectives asked, Stephen gave short, evasive answers. Sometimes he just stared at the wall. Then the real evidence started coming in. Police got a search warrant for Stephen's apartment. One of the first things they found was a master key to the apartment complex. Turns out Stephen stole that master key, and on the night Lauren disappeared, he used it to sneak into her apartment. Police also found photos of the victim and a hacksaw covered in her DNA. Then Stephen's old roommate came forward. What he told police made Stephen look more guilty. He said that when they lived together, Stephen used to talk about what would be the perfect murder and how to cover it up. Detectives also uncovered a possible motive. When she was alive, Lauren told her friends that Stephen asked her out for a date, but she turned him down because he made her feel uneasy. At this point, the cops had seen enough. Stephen was arrested, but when the news broke, everyone kept going back to the same video.
Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Suddenly, it wasn't just a news interview. It was a criminal pretending to be innocent on live TV. In August 2011, Stephen McDaniel was officially charged with murder. For years, he refused to confess, but the evidence kept piling up. If he went to trial and lost, he could be sentenced to death. So in 2014, he finally gave in.
He accepted the plea deal this morning. Well, he'll serve life in prison with the opportunity for parole again in 2041.
Stephen is still in prison today, but his TV appearance remains one of the most haunting interviews ever broadcast. This next case wasn't just a moment, it was a hostage situation. Crisis at KNBC. In August 1987, viewers tuned into KNBC's afternoon news. They had no idea they were about to witness a crime. A reporter, David Horowitz, was midway through his segment. Suddenly, a strange man stepped out of the shadows.
He had been sitting quietly until David Horowitz was ready to begin broadcasting his consumer segment.
The intruder was 34-year-old Gary Stolman, and he had a weapon. Gary stood right behind David Horowitz.
Because, you know, one of the nicest things about shopping by mail order... Pardon me? What is this?
Look at the gun.
He handed a note to Horowitz and ordered him to read.
Folks, we have someone on the set who's standing here and would like me to read to read this copy.
Thousands were watching the broadcast live, and it was obvious this was a real hostage situation. Read or face consequences. The note was full of wild conspiracy theories, stuff about the CIA replacing people with clones and aliens living among us. It sounded crazy, but the broadcast continued, and the weapon never moved from Horowitz's back.
I was warned in 1981 by someone with connections at the CIA to stay off the computers, that they didn't trust people on computers.
Behind the scenes, producers were panicking. They decided to cut the feed. After 28 seconds of the live hostage situation, they went to the commercials. But the hostage taker didn't realize the broadcast had been cut. Horowitz kept reading, word for word. It took about 7 minutes to finish.
But when the statement had been read, the gunman placed the gun on the desk and anchorman John Beard grabbed it.
Police rushed in moments later. Gary didn't resist. He let them arrest him without a struggle. That's when they realized it wasn't even a real weapon, it was a toy. But the surprises didn't end there. Everyone wanted to know who the intruder was and why he did it. Turns out he was mentally ill. After Gary's arrest, his father released a statement.
I do have a sick son. He has been hospitalized a number of times. I am thankful he wasn't.
Because of his condition, the court gave him a plea deal. He was put on 3-year probation and sent to a mental facility.
Classic.
This next TV moment started with laughter and ended in tears. The final show. On April 15th, 1984, 12 million people sat down to watch Live from Her Majesty's. It was a Sunday night live variety show in the UK. The audience expected jokes, music, and laughter. But that night, the show ended with death. The headliner that night was Tommy Cooper. Tommy was one of the most famous comedians in the UK. Tommy's whole act was built around failure. He acted like a buffoon, doing magic tricks that always went wrong.
I should have additional empty cloth for live ducks.
By the 1970s, Tommy was a superstar in the UK, but off stage, his life was far from great. For starters, he smoked constantly. Some reports say he went through 40 cigars a day, and that wasn't his only vice. Tommy also drank constantly. He said drinking helped him overcome his stage fright, but that coping mechanism became a full-blown addiction. Tommy was usually intoxicated while performing on stage. One time, he did a magic trick involving a guillotine, which was extremely dangerous, but Tommy was tipsy that night, so he forgot to put the safety catch on. If the floor manager hadn't jumped in at the last minute, someone on stage could have been seriously hurt. People around Tommy were concerned about his addictions, but as long as he kept the audience laughing, shows kept booking him.
And he said, I didn't do it. And he said, if I knew who did, I wouldn't tell it.
So on that Sunday night, Tommy walked out for the show Live from Her Majesty's. Tommy did his usual routine. He dropped cards, made jokes, and acted clumsily. The crowd was loving it. Then he moved on to his next bit. He asked his assistant for his cloak. He was going to magically pull stuff out of it. Immediately after the cloak was put on him, he uttered, "Thank you," before collapsing to the ground. At first, everyone laughed. They thought it was part of the act. Then the laughter faded, and Tommy didn't get back up.
And then gradually, I thought, well, he's not moving, and I thought, well, there must be something wrong. And my wife said, oh, there can't be anything wrong because they would have cut it out. And I said, no, it's live.
Backstage, the crew knew something was wrong. The director cut to a commercial break, and Tommy was carried off stage. They took him to the hospital as fast as they could, but it was too late. Doctors confirmed it was a heart attack. Tommy Cooper passed away that night. He was 63. When the news broke,
did he feel it?
people
Well,
realized the
how did he
awful
know?
truth. They clapped and laughed at a man while he was passing away. Tommy Cooper's hometown built him a statue in his honor. TV networks refused to air the clip of his last moments, but somehow it leaked. In 2009, someone posted the video on YouTube, but it was taken down after public backlash. Ironically, Tommy Cooper built his whole career on making mistakes look funny. So when he needed someone to save his life, everyone thought he was just joking. This next TV moment was supposed to inspire kids, but it left them horrified. The NASA tragedy.
The NASA
Launching a
chose.
rocket is always dangerous, but in 1986, NASA was so sure everything would go perfectly, they told the whole country to tune in. But they were about to see something devastating. Millions of Americans watched the launch live. Kids were told they were about to see history. NASA launched astronauts into space many times before, but this was different. For the first time ever, they were sending a teacher to space. Her name was Krista. She was a high school teacher from New Hampshire.
I still can't believe that I'm going to actually be going into that shuttle.
She didn't just get lucky, she earned it.
Nearly 12,000 teachers from all across the country had applied to NASA. Only 114 of them, less than 1%, were selected to continue in the competition.
Krista was going to be the first
criteria.
American civilian in space, so NASA turned her launch into a huge national event. She did interviews, posed for cameras, and answered tons of questions. But the big question was whether she felt safe.
Space flight today really seems safe. We had a good example of that when NASA shut down the last one through the computer because one of the backup systems wasn't working.
Everything was ready to go, but the night before launch, the weather suddenly changed. Temperatures around the launch site dropped below freezing. That made some engineers really worried. They warned that the cold could damage parts of the shuttle, specifically the rocket boosters, and if that happened, it would be catastrophic. The engineers advised NASA to delay the launch, but NASA hesitated. There was too much hype. Millions were preparing to watch it live, and the launch had already been delayed 4 times. First, it was because of a scheduling issue, then a dust storm, then bad weather, then a technical problem with the door latch.
Man,
Canceling
you
again
can't-
would be embarrassing. Inside NASA, it turned into a debate. Someone even accused the engineers of using inconclusive evidence to try and delay the launch. In the end, they decided to proceed with the launch. They would regret that choice for the rest of their lives. It was January 28th,
Can't get any clue.
1986. Launch day. That morning, 7 people boarded the shuttle. 6 astronauts, 1 teacher. The shuttle was called the Challenger.
Let's go down to the Kennedy Space Center and take a look at Challenger sitting on the pad.
At 11:38 a.m., the Challenger lifted off into a clear blue sky.
We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
For the first minute, everything looked perfect. The 73 seconds after takeoff, the shuttle turned into a ball of fire.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that.
They stared at their screens in shock. There were no survivors. That
Well-
night, the president addressed the country.
Today is a day for mourning and remembering.
The tragedy shook NASA to the core. They grounded every shuttle.
NASA has appointed a committee of top engineers and scientists to investigate the catastrophe.
To prevent this from happening again, NASA redesigned the rocket boosters and created a safety office. 7 people lost their lives while millions watched. That might be the most disturbing moment ever broadcast on TV. These stories are a reminder that life can flip in a second. So take care of yourself, but don't forget to enjoy the moments you're given. After all, what's the point of living if you're not really living? Visual Venture.
Well, I wonder, like, if the teacher was like in control of the choice to fly or not. You know, if you tell me that the weather condition is bad, if you tell me that this thing doesn't work, if you tell me that the door wasn't locked properly because of an issue, if you tell me like. At some point, the teacher, if she knew all this stuff, I don't think she would approve it to flight. It's crazy.
Okay, everyone, I've got good news and it's going to impact you. But to put it in the right context, I've got to start with a quote from Gabe Newell. This is back in 2012. He said then that Windows 8 was a catastrophe for PC. And he told the press that, of course, Microsoft, who were his former employer, that they needed competition, that they need there to be alternatives. And the good news is that now, 13 years later, they've got competition from Gabe. And now we are armed with new data. Concrete evidence that, like for like, SteamOS is superior, that it beats Windows.
Superior.
It's better in battery life, better performance, and this is all testing not on first-party devices, but on third-party devices, which is honestly massive. So here's the thing, right? As this operating system rolls out to more devices, it's then becoming a viable option for more and more users. What does that mean for Microsoft? It means legitimate competition. Microsoft evidently thinks they need to meet that challenge because now they are acting. But first, we gotta talk about SteamOS being available for everyone and just how good it is. There's another fun thing going on. Vercel's V0 and every no-code tool on Earth have empowered a whole generation of vibe coders. I'm sure you've heard the word. My editors are now making internal tools for our team that previously I need an engineer for. That's awesome, but there's a dragon. It's called Backend, and my sponsor boot.dev exists to help you slay that dragon. And I'm not even being cheesy. Boot.dev is all themed and built as a role-playing game. It's made by a gamer for fellow gamers, and it fits my weaknesses. Coming from C# game development and like my education and background, front end has always been kind of easy mode and intuitive, but wiring databases, doing auth, all that stuff feels like obscure wizardry. That's why I swear by boot.dev. Lane and the team have baked
What's the difference between back-end and front-end?
Guild-style Discord that is super active into a curriculum that's laser-focused
I have
on
no idea.
serious back-end chops. So I'm talking about things like actually understanding data structures, API, auth flows, algorithms, Docker, the whole works. You'll build and deploy a server client Pokedex, remake asteroids in Pygame. You'll even tackle job search preparation. Basically, as much fun as vibe coding can be, it does skip a bunch of steps that you really should take, and Boot absolutely sorts that. So
Front
no
end
more
is what you
tutorial
see,
help, no
back
more
end is what the
pricey
computer
bootcamp
works
hustle
with.
stuff, just a structured path that turns all that
Front
vibe coding
end is
energy
what you
into
see.
viable engineering that you can actually depend on. And Boot keeps on
But,
adding features like, say, the searchable spellbook and constant new
But what you
content
see
drops. Like, for
happens
example,
from the back.
massive TypeScript module.
I don't know,
Pretty huge,
like,
and there's a way to save even more money. If you go to
it kind of
boot.dev/valuable
doesn't make any sense,
news,
but at the same
code
time it
valuable
does
news
make
gets you
sense.
25% off your first purchase. So buy the yearly plan for the largest saving, and if you don't gel with it, don't worry, because there's a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. The first domino to fall in today's story is the exciting one that SteamOS is officially live on third-party devices. So Valve just released the official build for the Lenovo Legion Go S. It's got SteamOS 3.7, and they've also improved it for other handhelds, specifically ones that are using AMD hardware. And what that means for us is fairly big.
It's only
means
AMD.
Official evidence, because we can now compare how
Right.
SteamOS performs against Windows on like-for-like hardware, with the only difference being different operating systems. And the good news is that things are looking really good for Gabe Newell's alternative. First off, though, I gotta state the obvious. So the Legion Go S is released 3 years after the Steam Deck, so it shouldn't be surprising that it does have better performance. And Valve have been clear enough about all of this, where basically they frame their device as a hardware baseline, where they're not super interested in hardware refreshes anytime soon. It seems their game plan is basically to expand the size of the market by, funnily enough, allowing for lots and lots of competition by giving SteamOS out to other different vendors. But here's what actually makes the Legion Go S real unique. It's also available in the Windows version. That same hardware, different OS. And that means we can do pure OS level performance comparisons. And they're not good for Windows. The most prominent ones came from Dave2D, and his title pretty much, well, was music to my ears. I've long had an axe to grind against Windows. I'll put my biases up front. And in his video, you see better frame rates, you see better battery life, and it's all in specific comparisons between the two different OSs. And I think for most people in the handheld form factor anyway, the big winner is battery life, because in the less graphically intensive games, you essentially had 2 to 3 hours more playtime on SteamOS. Now, essentially, right, if you are absolutely just maxing out your hardware, just completely going wild, you're going to drain both of them fairly consistently. But on a less intensive game, well, then you'll be putting the power usage strain on other things.
Yeah, but
As an
why would
example,
you...
like the operating system, and that's what we've got here.
Why would you buy a handheld console if you want to play it for longer than 2 hours? Like, I don't know. At that point, just buy a desktop or a normal console, you know?
And it's not just Dave2D. The Virgin PC Gamer are also finding similar, and, well, it's like that across the board. Now, there's not magic here. It's not like SteamOS is literally doing the impossible. It still is very much handheld gaming console performance. You're not going to get 1080-60 out of the box immediately, but what you will have is, out of the box, an almost universally better time on SteamOS. And if you're wondering why, it's actually fairly simple. It's because SteamOS has been optimized at every level for this, even down to things like the sleep and suspend functionality working in a thoughtful way. And it's just all those little paper cuts that exist on, say, Windows 11 for handheld gaming, as I've experienced my ROG Ally. It's just those little paper cuts that make it a fairly shit experience. Now, of course, it's not doomed to be a shit experience forever. Like, adjusting the power draw and doing all of that stuff does actually get you quite a bit closer to SteamOS. I've had a lot of fun doing that in my ROG Ally, but look, if you want big mass market appeal, what you need is just for it to work better out of the box. That is what SteamOS is able to deliver even on hardware not made by Valve. And while Windows 11 plus tweaking can get you part of the way there, it ain't SteamOS. Microsoft clearly knows that, and that's why they're trying to enter that market and actually give competition in a fairly big way. By now, it's fairly obvious that Microsoft agrees with those criticisms, or at least agrees or thinks that those criticisms will be a problem for them. And we know that because they've just unveiled the Xbox editions of the Asus ROG Ally. And what we're seeing in their approach is an attempt to address those problems directly. So, I'll explain the lay of the land here. You've got the base ROG Ally, then you've got the Ally X. Now, both of those use the same hardware framework as the existing ROG Ally, but this one has got one extra button, a little bit like an Xbox controller, and it replicates that device's functionality. But this is not only about hardware, and this is, I think, what matters a little bit more. The real story is how Xbox have adapted their firmware in response to SteamOS, and the biggest change is the Xbox full screen experience. Basically, Xbox say they worked with Asus to rebuild the operating system. Now, it still is Windows, right? So, you know, all the good and all the bad that comes with Windows is going to be there. But there are massive reductions in what the operating system actually does. Now, we got a little bit of clarity on that from Jason Beaumont, who's the VP of Experiences. He told The Verge, "We're not loading the desktop wallpaper, not the taskbar. None of those productivity processes."
I wonder if they allowed to do
all
that.
the gump, all the background stuff that maybe doesn't need to be done if all you care about is gaming is not going to be happening. You'll get fewer notifications, fewer pop-ups, all that stuff, which honestly sounds pretty good.
Sure if
and of
they're
course, the
allowed to
thing
do
is,
that.
this device isn't actually out yet. We literally cannot run tests. But even now, right, which is a fair bit before this is coming out, which is basically like winter this year, right now they're taking 2 gigs of memory back from the OS, so that's fairly nice for games. They've also got power draw down, 1/3 apparently of the current desktop experience in sleep mode, and then there's actually using the device. So the new Xbox button lets you switch between apps. That's things like Discord, games, launchers, and then in the UI level, we've got this, which is the gaming library, and that really may be the killer app here. So in demos, the Xbox game app could launch any installed game. It would not matter where the game came from, right? So Steam, Battle.net, Xbox itself, all of those can just run from this launcher. Obviously, there's been things that have tried that before. As an example, GOG Galaxy, the idea of unifying everything under one launcher. There obviously were no real incentives for the various other different launchers to play nice with Galaxy. I imagine Xbox have got a little, just a little bit more clout there. But essentially their plan is a full console-like experience happening on one of these handhelds, not, say, SteamOS or, even worse, desktop Windows just being on a handheld. And on top of that, they're doing a few things that I think are clearly designed for mass market appeal. As an example, Roblox comes optimized for it, which may not be super important to you or me, but a terrifying number of people play that game. Also, Game Pass demos are baked in, and Microsoft are planning their own version of Verified for Deck, but basically for Windows handhelds. And it's all quite interesting, really, because this is actually a massive, massive shift. Just a few months ago, Windows Central were reporting that Microsoft's internally developed handheld was actually shelved. So it seems that was actually true, and instead they're leaning on their strength. Funnily enough, the soft that's in Microsoft. And that basically means operating system stuff for their partners like Asus. Essentially, it's
Microsoft doesn't give a shit as long as you can play it, or you can even do the subscription to the the Microsoft subscription. Yeah, they don't care. I don't think they're gonna release a handle. Especially against Nintendo, or after what Sony did.
Trying to play to their strengths, leverage the likes of Game Pass, and kind of use the fact that they're a really big company with a hell of a lot of games and, quite a lot of bandwidth compared to a more lean outfit like Valve, and do everything they can to keep people from leaving their ecosystem. And that's where, well, there is a fundamental thing. This is Windows. Most things work in Windows. SteamOS is Linux, and not everything works with Linux. I've got to hit you with some context here. Here's May 2025 Steam hardware story.
Linux is
it really
not
just
that
tells
great.
the story for us. because Windows is up at 95.45% of Steam users. That's a lot. And as much as the social media buzz would make you think people are abandoning Windows, no, Windows 11 actually grew by just under 0.5%. As for Linux, well, there is good movement there. It climbed to 2.69% this month.
Sure.
2. So it's really not that much. But here's the reality here. So Arch Linux 64-bit basically represents SteamOS, and that is just about 0.27% of all hardware. And that is honestly where Steam is just absolutely goddamn mind-boggling. The scale is insane. They've got over 185 million, right? Million monthly active users. So of all of that, Steam Deck is only representing a tiny, tiny fraction of the total PC gaming market. But handhelds actually do tell a little bit of a different story. So according to The Verge and IDC data, 4 million Steam Decks have shipped. Now, if you compare that to the Windows handhelds, they're only 2 million total. So basically, Steam Deck is double the total of all of the Windows handhelds put together. Now, where it's interesting is, of course, on the strategic level. In the grandest scale, what does Gabe Newell literally want? I mean, he literally told us, right, back in like 2012. He wants more competition, and clearly that's operating system level competition, so he wants Linux to be more important. But obviously, if Linux is going to be an awful experience because your games won't run, then that won't happen. So they built SteamOS to accommodate Windows games. Obviously, they want to avoid the Mac OS problem, because on this thing, damn good hardware, right? But, you know, I go onto Steam and half my bloody library doesn't work. That's why, of course, Valve have Proton, so that Linux just works. But it kind of doesn't really, because there is a limit and it does impact some of the largest games that are out there, and that's anti-cheat. It's a humongous problem. As an example, Fortnite, how many hundreds of millions of people are doing a Fortnite? Apex Legends, even games like Destiny, those games actively say they cannot support Linux, and the reason why is kernel level anti-cheat. Now, I still see in the comments of my videos people saying, no, I will never install kernel level anti-cheat. But the thing is, if you actually go to loads of those game communities, they can be ravaged by cheating. Before anti-cheat got good, like literally driving droves of people away from these games. Now, of course, this ends up presenting a little bit of a problem for these companies, because if 96% of your audience uses one platform, you really don't need to cater to under 1%. And if you're Apex Legends, that's how you're going to think. And right now, that's how loads of these companies do actually think. But what we need to be careful about is not being all sour grapes about it, right? Because we could all just easily say, oh, we don't play those games. Those are big mass market normie games for silly normies. We're true gaming enthusiasts. Why does this matter to me? Yeah, you could say that. It's a bit sour grapes, but it's also strategically bad. I mean, literally, here's a quote from Gabe Newell. I think a lot of people in their thinking about platforms don't realize how critical games are. They're consumer drivers of purchase and usage. When he says that, he means all games, especially ones that are continually massive in Steam. And that extends perhaps especially to ones also played by more casual people. So for SteamOS to reach more than 1% of users, it's going to need to meet everyone where they actually are. That means it's going to need to support those massive, humongous behemoth games. That's basically where Microsoft do have a leg up, because all of those games, well, they run in Windows. And that means that if you want a gaming handheld, and you also want the peace of mind that the big games will be supported on the thing you're going to buy, you're obviously going to buy the Windows version. Yeah. And that basically is Microsoft's big clapback to Steam, because Steam have obviously not been able to find some sort of, I don't know, magical Proton for anti-cheat. I'm not a low-level engineer, but honestly, that sounds half impossible anyway.
Now here's some news sure to make the average CNN viewer extra sad. Take it away, Harry.
The bottom line is this. Despite everything that's going on in the world right now, Republicans are more trusted on Democrats when it comes to foreign policy and the world at large.
And the figures show the American people, despite the relentless media campaign against the Trump administration and its foreign policy decisions, well, the American people have more faith in Trump and the GOP than the Democrats.
When it comes to the issue of foreign policy, again, what you see is, in the American voters' minds, Democrats simply put can't hack it. More voters trust Republicans on foreign policy, very much like they did back during the 2024 campaign.
What about the strikes on Iran? Because while they were being contemplated, they were not universally popular.
No, they were not universally popular, and in the immediate aftermath, they were not universally popular. Look at this. Net approval rating, U.S. airstrikes on Iran. In late June, the net approval rating, look at that, -8 points underwater. But as the American people learned more and more about it, look at this. A 10-point rise. Now it's in the positive. The American people like the move that Donald Trump put on Iran, the U.S. airstrikes in Iran.
Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, the data on the airstrikes is particularly interesting because CNN was at the forefront of running that anonymous, low-level conjecture that the airstrikes didn't actually do much damage, but that narrative seems to have not had long-lasting impact.
Indeed. I think ultimately polling does reflect reality. It may be delayed because it's always swimming against the current of the mainstream media narrative engineering. Sometimes it may be delayed by years or even decades, sadly and frustratingly, but eventually truth does tend to prevail. And that one, it was not only a criticism of Trump, which was the genesis of why they were putting that out there, but it was also a criticism of American military might, the technological capability. And that I don't think it sits very well with the American public because just the nature of those bunker-busting bombs, it's technology nobody else has in the world. The visuals of how they're like rockets that go deep into the ground was quite amazing. And it just wasn't going to fly, I think, the way they were constructing that narrative. The polling also probably improved because it was a controversial move. Politically, in terms of foreign policy, that still remains about are we getting sucked into another forever war? But since we didn't, it was sort of an in and out. I think those concerns have been assuaged as well.
I think that had a lot to do with it as well. I think a lot of people were very reluctant about America getting involved in another Middle Eastern conflict to that extent and were fearful this was going to be a war. When it was just a one-off strike, then I think they relaxed somewhat. Now, this is rather wonderful footage. Watch here as Keir Starmer squirms like the ineffectual faux leader that he is as Donald Trump talks about Europe's illegal immigration crisis and the rise in crime.
Europe is a much different place than it was just 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And they've got to get their act together. If they don't, you're not going to have Europe anymore as you know it. And you can't do that. This is a magnificent part of the world, and you cannot ruin it. You cannot let people come in here illegally. And what happens is there'll be murderers, there'll be drug dealers, there'll be all sorts of things that other countries don't want. And they send them to you, and they send them to us, and you've got to stop them.
And the squirming did not stop there. Starmer was then asked about whether he's envious of Trump's stellar record in resolving the illegal immigration crisis in the US.
The president makes it look easy dealing with illegal migration. You must be envious of his record in such a short period of time.
Well, I think we've been discussing irregular, illegal migration is a huge issue in both our countries. In the United Kingdom, it is a real cause for concern, and that's why we must bear down on it in all its aspects, upstream, across Europe, where a lot of ours comes into through northern France, across the Channel.
Kosha, Trump's really shown these leaders that the illegal immigration crisis can be solved. It is not an issue that's too big to have an answer. You just have to have the will and the policies to make it happen. And he's did it in such quick time, and I think that's what's shocked so many people.
That line in his State of the Union address or joint address that he gave just weeks into his presidency, where he said, we heard for years that you needed more legislation or comprehensive immigration reform, and it turns out all you needed was a new president. That's going to go down in the history books because he's done it. As you say, in less than 100 days, border crossings are virtually zero. And we all know that immigration has been really a debacle for Western countries over the last half century. He's laying that bare. He's showing that it can be turned around, and it's just making the rest of the world leaders look totally impotent and feckless, that they're not able to do this. Their populations are crying out for it. They don't want any more of it, and he can just sit there now and take a victory lap and really show them up, as he should.
Well, the solution seems to be from some of these countries, including in the UK, to crack down on free speech, and that was another topic for discussion, an issue that we know Trump cares passionately about. Let's have a look at what's happening in the UK. They've got a crackdown on people who want to voice their concerns about illegal immigration. Anti-migrant posts on social media are going to be monitored by an elite police squad. And yet we've got Keir Starmer claiming that free speech is very important to him and it exists in the UK.
We discussed the importance of free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
Koshe claims they have free speech in the UK, but this latest crackdown on free speech is coming as protests outside asylum hotels have spread across the country. And we've got people right now locked up for some of them lengthy terms, around 3 years, for things they've posted in opposition to immigration.
It's outrageous.
Yeah,
Months,
right
even
now.
up to 3 years, as you say.
Right now, complaining or saying something wrong about immigration in general is against the law, literally. You are considered a terrorist.
One is a 55-year-old mother who was locked up, so these are not violent offenders. And this whole concept of hate speech or bigoted speech leading to these task forces for immigration. They also did it for COVID in 2020, 2021. They had a secret sort of investigative unit that was looking to combat disinformation around various COVID measures that potentially could lead to prosecutions or arrests, and I think did in some cases. So Keir Starmer is right in that there is a long history of free speech in the UK, going all the way back to the Magna Carta in 1215. That's where it all germinated out of. That's what makes it even more shameful and sad that they're doing this. It has to be defended. And this issue is only going to brew. It's headed towards a collision course because in addition to arresting their own citizens like they have, they're doing things like putting these huge fines against American big tech companies who are not without sin, those big tech players. However, they're appealing all of them, and these other governments coming in and trying to find 6, 8, 10% of global revenues is going to come into Trump trade deals and other negotiations as well. So this fight is just getting started.
It's crazy. I've been seeing screen grabs that people have posted from the UK where just posts about immigration are completely blanked out. You can see them elsewhere in the world, but you can't see them in the UK. And we've got people who have been accused of incitement via their tweets, serving longer jail terms, some of them, than people involved in the grooming gang scandal. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. We've got more squirming from the UK Prime Minister here. Trump's asked about whether he's going to go to London, and he can't help mentioning Sadiq Khan, the mayor, and how terrible he is.
You visit London during the state visit?
I will. I'm not a fan of your mayor.
Why not?
I think he's done a terrible job, the mayor of London. But the nasty person. I think
nasty person.
I think
he's a friend of mine, actually.
No, I think he's done a terrible job. But I would certainly visit London. Yeah.
I love how Trump just ignored what Keir Starmer said there and just reiterated, yes, Sadiq Khan is doing a terrible job. He's a nasty person.
It's so funny because he says he's doing a terrible job, which is true if you want to defend that. Crime has been up, basically knife crime, violent crime, sexual assault. They call it something like there's a rape reported per hour now in London, even shoplifting and all these things. And not all of that is at his feet. There are other upstream reasons for it, but that's not a good record, even though it does bear saying that he's the only mayor who's been reelected 3 times. So he does keep getting reelected despite that.
That is true.
But I love how Trump added that extra personal layer. He's doing a terrible job as mayor and he's nasty. And that's when Keir Starmer felt the need to come in and defend him, and he just swatted it away. Nope, he's doing a bad job.
Ignored it, just kept talking. Now, a warning to our viewers, this next story does have some distressing content. It's a horrible story. What looks like race-based violence from Cincinnati received scant coverage until the vice president talked about them. The scenes are horrific, but when I went to Google yesterday looking for news coverage, the mainstream media were missing in action. Indeed, the first news story that popped up was about Ice Cube's surprise appearance at the Cincinnati Music Festival. But that has all changed now because the vice president was asked about this issue and he had this to say.
What I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And And they will be. They will be so long as law enforcement in the state of Ohio takes their job seriously. I know Dave Yost cares a lot about these things. I don't know the full context. I don't know how the fight started. But the one part that I saw that was really gruesome is you had a grown man who sucker punched a middle-aged woman. And where I come from, at least, when you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time. And frankly, he's lucky there weren't some better people around because they would have handled it themselves. But if they're not going to handle it, the cops in Cincinnati, the law enforcement, you've got to prosecute people. We've had way too much lawlessness on the streets of great American cities.
We are now seeing some news coverage on this story, but Kosher, I can guarantee if the races of the victims were reversed, if the perpetrators were mainly white and the victims were black, let's face it, this would be front page on most newspapers across America, would be leading the news service. But it's taken the vice president's intervention to actually put this even in the news cycle.
Probably.
The media, thankfully, is just getting more and more irrelevant, and there are these alternatives with independent media, and it's going viral online, as you said. But it is so frustrating because they don't cover it, they won't cover it. There's some rumors and rumblings that there was some kind of racial slur uttered. There's no evidence or reportable specificity around that. But if that emerges, that that's what instigated this, it doesn't justify obviously being beaten down like that, then I suspect the media will cover it because it'll give them a little bit of a motivation that they'll zero in on. But it is frustrating. I think two things will force them to, either that, high-profile people like the vice president speaking out about it, and then prosecutions, if they happen. Harmeet Dillon, who's the head of the civil rights group under Pam Bondi, under this administration, came out with a statement that federal statutes protect all Americans, regardless of color, and we will be watching the Cincinnati prosecutors closely to make sure that they bring charges against these people. That's what everybody's waiting to see.
Absolutely, and yeah, she's a very good operator indeed. Vivek Ramaswamy has weighed in as well. He's running to be the governor of Ohio, and he posted this earlier today. He said he spoke to Holly, that's the woman who was knocked out, and she's a single working mum who went to a friend's birthday party. It's unconscionable that there were no police present in the area in Cincinnati on Friday night, or even an ambulance to take her to the hospital. Hardworking Americans shouldn't have to worry for their safety when they have a good time in our cities. Holly said not a single local or state official had yet reached out as of earlier this afternoon, other than one police detective. Leftists like to lecture about systematic injustice while thugs turn our cities into war zones. I'm done with their excuses. As governor, I'll make sure they'll be behind bars, not running wild. Our cops will have the green light to restore order. No apologies. This is a strong statement, and J.D. Vance also made a statement about making great American cities safe again.
The local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild. We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children. If you want to take your wife or your children out for a meal, you shouldn't be worried about street violence, and the only way to destroy that street violence is to take the thugs who engage in that violence and throw their asses in prison.
And I tell you, this could be the issue that turns those big cities red, because the big cities are almost all blue. But crime is just running rampant, and people are sick of it, surely.
Yes, you see little sparks of that. So Ohio as a state has turned quite red and has gone to Trump by 10 points in every election, actually, that he's run in 3 times. But you're right, these cities are not. The mayor, the vice mayor of Cincinnati came out with a statement trying to water it down and saying, oh, this was just an adult fight, is how she couched it, because they don't want to admit how derelict they are in their duty.
Right. I mean, I've seen the full footage that's available online.
It's disgusting.
And this wasn't a fight. This was a full-blown gang attack. 2 helpless people bashed. Almost a miracle they're alive. And then the second video is a man by himself who is just horrifically bashed.
They're trying to water it down, but the only thing that'll make a difference is prosecutions, handcuffs, and that is the deterrence. And we keep talking about Bukele and El Salvador and how he has done that by having very, very strong consequences for criminality. We need to bring that back, especially after BLM. The system has sent a very bad message that you can do these kinds of things and get away with it, especially if you're from certain groups.
Yeah.
And that has to be turned around.
Absolutely. Kosher Gator, thank you so much for your time.
Well, a part of Spain
5:10. Oh, I'm thinking to play something. I don't know what. Take a break a little bit from 3D. Playing some games. Asking some friends to see if they are online, but I think it's too early yet. Boo, 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 boo. Let's see. Problem is I don't have any single player game on me. I try Battlefield, I can't play that game. I don't know why. It's not for me. Feel like I'm not doing anything good on it. I can't play it. Maybe I'm too old to play it. What else do I have? I used to have Marvel. Marvel was decent. Marvel. Marvel. Let's see if there are any update. Boop, 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 boom. So we do gaming. Change the title as well.